Welcome back to the live show. You know what time it is. We are back. We're back. We're back. We're back. Welcome back. Welcome back. My name is Genesis. Some people call me Genesis Madhouse. It is what it is. We are back. We're back. We're back. 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 Okay. So the title of today's show is America Never Backs Down. Okay. America Never Back Down. That's the title today. Okay. And we're going to be playing the OG Donald Trump in Montana. This was about 4 weeks ago, I guess. 4 weeks ago. It should be 4 weeks ago. And we're going to talk about how he's been consistent. That's one thing for sure we can talk about. He has been consistent, absolutely consistent. He's been going hard. And of course, he has no choice. He has no choice than to go hard because Kamala is going hard. So he has to go hard too. And, you know, the odds are kind of like stacked against him at this point with the whole, the legal issues, the allegations, alleged allegations, and the indictment and all that stuff. So that's what he's going through right now. However, he's been very, very active. He's been doing what he has to do, which I think is smart. I think is absolutely smart because if you're going through all of what he's going through and you're campaigning to be the next president of the United States, you have to do what you got to do. And I really, I commend him for his energy and for everything that he's doing to win a presidential election. Let me know who are you going to be voting for. Let me know who are you going to be voting for. And let me know why you are voting for this person, okay? Let us know why you're voting for this person. Okay, let's listen to the OG Trump in Montana. This was a couple of weeks ago. Let's listen. All right, smash the like button, subscribe to the channel. Let's get it.
This is some beautiful country, though. I did do a lot of driving. I'd go to one. We went to some friend's house, a really good friend's house with your governor. You have a great governor in this state. You know that, right? You have a great. But we went around the state, and it was so beautiful. And I'd say, when will I be there? Approximately 2.5 hours. Oh, great. Thank you. It's a big state. It's a beautiful state, and we love it. And we've won it every time by a lot. So I'm thrilled to be back in this incredible place, this beautiful state with thousands of proud, hardworking American patriots, which is what you are. You built the country. Less than 3 months from now, we are going to defeat radical left Democrat John Tester. He's terrible. He is terrible. He is terrible. And send Tim Sheehy to the United States Senate. We're going to evict crazy Kamala. Do you know, ever hear of Kamala? Radical left. Radical left. Well, she has a couple of things that a lot of people from Montana would like she wants to take away your guns. You like that, right? All right, how about this? She wants to defund the police. Are you okay with that? She wants to allow millions of people to pour into our border through an invasion, using an invasion process. I don't think so. I don't think that's for you. It's not for me either. It's not for most people in this country. We're going to evict crazy Kamala, and we're going to get Joe Biden out of the White House. What's he doing now? Greg, what's he doing? You know, he wanted to debate. If we didn't have a debate, he'd still be there. Can you imagine if we didn't have a debate? Why the hell did I debate him? How did he do? Do you think he's happy with it? I don't think so. He's not too happy. You know, they took it away from him. They really did. They took it away. The guy had 14 million votes. She had none. But I'd rather run against her. I think she's easier to beat. I really do. I believe it. And we are going to make America great again. We're going to make it so great. This election is about saving our economy, ending inflation, securing our borders, restoring respect for our nation. We're no longer respected. Preventing World War III, especially for all these young people, these young, beautiful people. We don't want to get them into World War III. And stopping a 1929-style depression, because that's what's going to happen. You saw what happened last week. With your vote, we will reverse the Kamala crash, and we will end the Kamala chaos, and we will stop the Biden-Harris invasion of people that don't belong in our country. They're invading our country. Kamala Harris, you know, it's interesting. Nobody really knows her last name. If you ask people, do you know what her last name is? Nobody has any idea what it is. Harris. It's like Harris. I don't know. How the hell did this happen? You know, they said, so we had the debate. He didn't exactly do well. And they actually, CNN was very nice. They said, that was one of the greatest debate performances I've ever seen, said by a very important person at CNN. Then what happens? 2 days later, they said he was lousy. They don't talk about me anymore. They just said he was lousy. And he was pretty bad, you have to admit. But we're going to turn it around. We're going to turn this country around. We're going to turn it around very fast. And Kamala is not up to the job. He's not up to it. Neither is Tester up to it. You know, Tester, everyone thinks like he's my best friend. He's never voted for me once, and yet his commercials is, I like Donald Trump very much. I love his pride. I love his border stance. He votes against the border. He voted against funding of the border. He said, I love his stance on energy. He voted against our energy programs. He votes against us 100%. He's voted in favor of crooked Joe Biden 100% of the time. He did it last time with the election. We had the same problem. You remember, he comes out, everyone's saying he really likes your policy a lot. He doesn't like. He's a radical left lunatic, just like Kamala, and we got to elect him. We got to get him in. Got to get him in. Since becoming a presidential candidate, she has refused to do a single interview. You know why? Because she's dumb. Or hold a single press conference. She won't hold a press conference. She won't do it. She won't do it. She doesn't want. And they're easy questions, you know, because the press, look at them back there. Look at all of them. A lot of press. They're rigged. They're rigged. They're fake news. You know, I looked and I get these tough questions from the press all the time, and I look at the questions that Joe got, right? Where do you think you're having dinner tonight? What will you eat? Will you have ice cream for dessert? No, I don't know. It's unfair, the questions are so hard, he says. No, the way they treated him and with me. I won't use the questions because I don't want to give any ideas. They give me the worst questions. They are so nasty. They are the nastiest people, I think, on earth. And Kamala gives the exact same speech over and over again. Over and over. The same exact words. One of the people put it up, like they put 6 of them up, and it was like every single word is the same. I don't do that. I got to give you a little bit of variety, right? I change all these damn speeches. Where are my speechwriters? I'm going to do that. Just have one speech and just for the next 90 days go out and just read that thing. But we don't like to read teleprompters, right? It's not as much fun. It's not as exciting. And somehow it's never as good, is it, huh? No, I think we're going to write up one standard speech. You read it from beginning to end. You know what would happen? You'd start walking out. They'd say, oh, look, Trump's not holding. How about yesterday? They said, oh, she had a big crowd. Oh, the crowd. The press is talking about the crowd. In New Jersey, I had 107,000 people. The press never even talked about it. They don't talk about it. Right? They don't talk about it. Because they're fake. I went to South Carolina. We had 82,000 people. Front row Joe, look. We have many front row Joes. We have Mr. Wall over here. Look, I love that suit. Do you think he's in favor of building a wall? I think so, yes. I think so. He's great. How many of you come to? Over 200, right? And you know, he's a great guy. He's makes a lot of money. You've got to make a lot of money. He travels all over the country. But the front row Joes are great. We have so many people. They've been to so many of the rallies. The rallies are great. We had a tough one 4 weeks ago. A very tough one, right? We had a very tough one. Lost a great person, Corey. Great firefighter, great person, really amazing man. Corey, you're a tough one, right? And two gentlemen, real Trumpers, real Trump people. The people, they love our country. What's a Trumper? They love our country, too. Really, really badly hurt. They didn't think they were going to make it, and they did make it, and they're going to be as good as ever, and they're great. The doctors in that whole Butler area did a phenomenal job, I will tell you. They thought these two would not make it, and they not only made it, they're going to be, they'll be as good as new, but it'll take a little work, but they got hit hard. All Kamala does is read that teleprompter while pretending she had nothing to do with any of the disasters that she's totally given up of all of the things. She said, I want this, I want that, I want that. Now she doesn't want any of it. And then they accuse me of being horrible when I question her. She wanted to be non-energy independent. She wants windmills all over the place, windmills. Put a windmill on top of the building. We have so much oil under our feet. We have more liquid gold under our feet than any country in the world, including Saudi Arabia and Russia. And we don't use it. 4 weeks ago, think of it. 4 weeks ago, the media said she was grossly incompetent. And I said, oh, this is going to be an easy race. She didn't have a chance of beating me. She couldn't do anything. They wanted to get her out. They thought she should resign with Crooked Joe Biden. What do you like better? It doesn't matter anymore, but what do you like better, Crooked Joe or Sleepy Joe? Sleepy Joe, Crooked Joe. Okay, ready? They're both correct. I think Crooked Joe is more correct than you like. All right, ready? Crooked first, right? What do you like better? Crooked Joe or Sleepy Joe? Crooked seems to always win. I mean, he's a crooked guy. All he had to do is think of it. If he didn't do the debate, he'd still be running. They'd be saying how great he is. He's a brilliant man, a wonderful guy. Really at the top of his game. He wasn't at the top of his game 25 years ago, I'll tell you right now. And she's worse than he is. She's worse. He's smarter than she is. But the Democrats didn't have the courage to force her off. They didn't have it. They didn't want to do it. It was politically incorrect. And now the media is saying that she's wonderful. She's wonderful. The same people back there, 4 of them I recognize so perfectly. If you can't do a press conference, you cannot be president, okay? That's it. She doesn't do anything. Remember when I used to always walk up to the press under the helicopter or under the wing of the plane and I'd talk to them? I loved it because if I didn't like their question, I could say, I can't hear the helicopters. But they do many versions of it. Nobody ever did that before, you know. That was it. And everybody copies me. So now she walks up, she'll take like a half a question, and she'll leave. Joe is bad. Joe couldn't hear. He couldn't do anything. It was an embarrassment to that art form. That was an art form. It was an embarrassment. Kamala, sometimes referred to as Kamala. You know, she got about 9 different ways of pronouncing the name. And because the press is so dishonest, no matter how you say it, they'll say you were wrong. You were wrong. I don't care if I get it right. Actually, I couldn't care less. I actually haven't been accused that I know of calling it wrong, but if I did, they'd say that he did it on purpose. And you could do that. I've done a lot of bad name calling where you call somebody that you know how to say the name perfectly and you call it on purpose. They say, sir, you made a mistake. I said, no, I didn't. Kamala will not answer for her record of failure and weakness. A doctor, please. Doctor in the house. Thank you. Thank you very much. Thank you. Take your time. Take your time, Doc. Thank you very much. Thank you. Thank you. We love these people. They wait for 2 days sometimes, and then it's tough. It's not easy. Are they okay? Thank you very much. And doctor, take your time. Good. Thank you, darling. Thank you. Thank you. Take your time, doctor, please. We got a lot of time, right? Nice Friday evening. Friday evening in Montana. I think my next drive is going to be about 3-4 hours from here. I wish it was a little closer, you know, that's the one thing. But that's okay. That's all right. Our governor says we have all the time we want. Greg says we have all. You got one of the best governors. I don't know if you know. Do they appreciate it or not? I don't know. And the governor's wife, I don't know. He's a great one. He's a great guy. We better get 4 more years, or we're not going to have a country left if we don't get 4 more years. We're going to not have a country left. That's why so many people, they come and they waited for days. They wait for days, and it's tough. It's tough. Thank you, darling. Thank you. Yay! Wow. Thank you, honey. That's great. That's really good. Incredible people. So when you're commander-in-chief, you don't go to the run and hide away from the press. You know, they go and run, and they want to go on a record that's a fake record. They have a fake record, both of them. How about the new guy? How do you like him? And anytime you tell a story about anybody, by the way, Steve Daines, how good is he? True. He's one of the finest. He's one of the finest people you'll ever meet. I really mean that too. And it's an honor to be with you. And you want to do this so badly because you want to save the country. We need the Senate. We need the Senate. So thank you, Steve, for being here. Thank you. And we're a beautiful family. But you don't get to flee from tough questions, and you don't get to read a teleprompter like for short periods of time where you make a speech that's like 2 minutes and everything is right off the teleprompter. What a lot of work to do for that. And you don't sit across the table from Vladimir Putin and President Xi of China. They're lovely individuals. If you can't handle our press, because they're not as tough as you think, I've been handling them for 4 years, and then another 4 years. They don't stop. They keep coming at you. They're the worst. But we're going to do something. We're going to have the biggest victory. They're going to celebrate because I think silently they do celebrate. I think silently they do. I think silently they're for us. They're afraid to say it, right? They're afraid to say it, but I think silently a lot of those people back there in the press, and that's a lot of people, but I think they're for us. For nearly 4 years, Joe Biden's mental incompetence has given Harris a free rein to impose her ultra-liberal agenda on America and others with her and destroy our country. You're destroying our country. Joe Biden was exposed during the debate. Likewise, Kamala will be exposed during the debate. She will be exposed during the debate, or debates. But so far, she's refusing to debate. We want to have a debate. Think of it. So she wants to have no debates, but one maybe at the most. And she wants it to be on ABC because ABC with George Stoppadopoulos. Have you ever heard of it? It's the nastiest of all. Who would think it, right? You think of NBC's terrible, and they are. MSNBC is disgusting. But the worst might be ABC, and that's the only one she'll do. And you know, when Biden came out with a brilliant idea to have a debate, how did that work out for him? Not so good. But he came out, they handed me Jake Tapper, sometimes referred to as Fake Tapper, but I have to tell you, he was totally fair, and Dana Bash, and they were totally fair. They really were. CNN. So they said, we want to debate. They gave me one option because they weren't going to debate. He didn't want to debate. They gave me one option. CNN, Dana Bash, and Jake Tapper. There will be no audience. There will be turning off your mics as soon as you finish speaking. And if you go over 1 second, they turn off and they make you look very bad. The good part is he didn't use much of his. You know, they give you 2 minutes and they'd say, right, you have 92 seconds left. And I kept saying, I'll take it. Can I have it? I want it. I want the 92 seconds at this. And then I'd do another one. You have 37 seconds left. That's a lot, you know, when you're up there, 37 seconds. And that's the last thing he wanted to hear because he didn't want to talk anymore. You have 77 seconds left. He goes, oh, Joe, what am I going to do? This is who our president was. And now we have somebody that's worse, in my opinion, worse. You have to remember, they said that he couldn't beat me now. I mean, after the debate, he was down, way down in the polls. They didn't even want to show the polls. They said he's not going to win. So they said, we're going to take him out and we're going to put somebody new in. This never happened to anybody before. We spent $100 million fighting crooked Joe Biden. And then all of a sudden they decide to take him out and put somebody else in. She never got one vote. She was the first loser in the primaries. You know, she ran against Joe Biden and everybody else. I think they had like 16 people running. She never made Iowa the first state. I love Iowa. You know why I love it? Because I win it every single time with the farmers. We win it. But she never made Iowa. She was the first one to quit. And now, and stupid, honestly, she was the nastiest to him, too, and then he picked her. I couldn't believe it. And she was part of the cabal that got him out. You know, they got him out. They said, we'll do it the nice way, or we'll do it the hard way, Joe. We'll use the 25th Amendment, and we'll call you mentally incompetent, and everybody will believe us. And, you know, what they did is a terrible thing, actually. They forced him out. It was a coup. We had a coup. That was the first coup in the history of our country. And it was very successful. He said, okay, I'll leave. If that's what you want, I'll leave. And now he's seeing what the competition is. I hear he's going to make a comeback at the Democrat convention. He's going to walk into the room and he's going to say, I want my presidency back. I want another chance to debate Trump. I want another chance. But I handed Kamala and Crooked Joe a surging economy with no inflation. We had no inflation. We had nothing. We had the greatest economy in the history of the world. True. Their radical socialist lunacy turned it into a failing economy with the worst inflation in probably 70 years. You know, they say 47. I don't believe 47. I think it's much more. I handed her the strongest border in U.S. history. She turned it into the worst border invasion in the history of the world. By the way, the chart, the border chart, I love that chart. I love that chart. I'm here because of that chart. I go, let me see that chart. If I don't turn, I won't be with you tonight. I won't be with you. I love that chart. You know the amazing thing? I'm going to sleep with that chart tonight. No, you know, the amazing thing is that chart, I use it probably 20% of the time, not that much. It's always on my left, not on my right. I mean, pretty much always. There are no people. We had a tremendous crowd, but all of the people, as far as the eye could see, they were here and some in the back. And how great were the people in the back? But all the people were the same. Nobody fled. You know, when a crowd hears a bullet, they always run. They heard lots of bullets because there were lots of bullets going off. And our Secret Service shooter, our Secret Service sniper, whatever you want to call him, water shot, he used one bullet from much further away because the sniper was there and he was way over here. And he wasn't warned that this could happen. I mean, that was the breakdown they had. They weren't warned. But he heard bullets. He immediately looked over, took aim and shot. One bullet, can you imagine that? From probably 400 yards, pretty far. But if it wasn't for that sign, in this case it came down to the right, it's never on the right, never. And it's never at the beginning of the speech. And I do, you know, I don't use the teleprompter a lot because I think it gets bad, but I just said, you know, let's take a look at the immigration numbers that we had, because they're great numbers. They're the best numbers in the history of our country. The Border Patrol did that chart. Thank you very much, Border Patrol. I appreciate it. But the Border Patrol did that chart. And you see the arrow on the bottom, the red arrow on the bottom. That's the lowest point. That was the week I left office. Look what happened after I left office. Look at that. And it's much worse now because that's a few months now. The numbers are much worse. They've let an invasion of our country happen, but I took a look. And because I took that look, I mean, what are the chances of that? So I just want to thank everybody, because I'll tell you what, the level of love and compassion and all of the things that we all went through, that was a terrible thing. And we're going to be very careful. We have to be very careful. This is, by the way, being president is a dangerous profession. You know, this is a very dangerous, this is not the safest profession out there, but it was an amazing event. And for those of you that don't believe in God, I believe that there's only one reason that could have happened, because the chances were so small. Right? Yeah. Thank you. Thank you very much. And we're going back to Butler. You know that, right? We're going back to Butler. We got to go back. We got to go back to Butler. They were great. And the hospital was incredible. The doctors were incredible that worked on our two friends that were so badly hurt. The doctors were everything about it. And we're going to go back just before the election sometime in October. It's already being worked on. And I'll probably start off by saying, as I was saying. So you stand up. As I was saying, I gave Kamala and Crooked Joe a world at peace, and their weakness and incompetence quickly brought us to the brink of a global war. America cannot survive for 4 more years of this bumbling communist lunatic. Look, we cannot let her win this election. It's not a question of me. We can't let her win this election. If she wins this election, we're not going to have a country anymore. Starting on day one, we will bring competence and common sense back to the Oval Office. You know, we're really a party of common sense, if you think. We're conservative and all that, but we're really a party of common sense. And by the way, we have a great libertarian with us tonight. Where is our libertarian friend? And I think he's going to be with us. Where is he? What a nice guy. Stand up, please. Stand up. What a nice guy. What a nice guy. A lot of us are libertarian. And I think he's going to be giving you a very nice surprise very soon. But he's a great, wonderful person, and we just met, and we knew each other a little bit from before. Thank you very much for being here. How do you like the audience? Not bad. Do you think the libertarians get this kind of an audience? I don't think so. But thank you. Great honor to know you. Thank you very much. But we'll bring back safety, security, and the American dream bigger, better, and stronger than ever before. If you want a preview of what a catastrophe another term of Kamala will be, and she was there, she was working with him. She was the border czar. Now she doesn't say she's the border czar. She said, I was never the border czar. I mean, everything they did, she's taking away now, but she was the border czar. She was the worst border czar in the history of the world. There's never been a border like this that allows millions and millions of people in a month from mental institutions and prisons, let them come into our country. Just look at who she chose for her vice president. She went with the hand-picked candidate of crazy Bernie Sanders. Bernie Sanders wanted him so badly, and the Democratic Socialists of America immediately gave him the endorsement. Forget him. That's her thinking. That's where she's going to go. You know, a politician, when they came out, if Steve Daines came out and said 20 years ago when he started, I wanted to fund the police. I don't think he's saying that. I wanted to fund the police, everybody. Then he said, well, I was only kidding. I don't. The truth is, when you come out with a statement like that, that's where you are. And she wants to defund the police, and she wants to have all of your guns taken away. She wants your guns taken away. You can count on it. A politician, their first statement, Steve, is always the statement. Now, Steve said, I'm going to protect your Second Amendment. That was a long time ago. He said, I'm going to take care of our police. Right, Steve? I just don't want to leave any question in their mind, Steve. He's so happy I did that little second part. He said, oh, my God, they might think I want to defund. Steve is he's not a big defender. He's an increaser for the police. We want to take care of our police. They're doing a great job, right? As Minnesota's Governor Tim Walz let rioters and looters burn down Minneapolis. Remember CNN? They're right back there. Watch. Oh, there goes their light. Their light just went off. While the governor's wife opened the windows to the mansion to enjoy the smell of the fire, she said, the smell is so beautiful. I love it. I wonder where she's coming from. Walz said that socialism is just another word for neighborliness. She wants to be, he calls them neighbors, good neighbors. He signed a bill to give illegal aliens free health care. He abolished Columbus Day. He ordered tampons to be put into boys' bathrooms. Do we have any children here? Please close your ears. He ordered tampons in boys' bathrooms, okay? He signed a law letting the state kidnap children to change their gender so that they go home. But I'm not talking about him. I'm talking about her. This is her ideology. That's why she picked him. And he signed a bill allowing pedophiles to claim human rights protections under the state law. And then he said, by the way, J.D. Vance is doing a phenomenal job. But then he said, well, think of that. Think of the things I just said. Then he said, you know, I think J.D. Vance is weird. You know, it's a word that they use. I think he calls me that too. No, we're not. We're very solid people. We want to have strong borders. We want to have good elections. We want to have low interest rates. We want to be able to buy a house. We want great education. We want strong borders. I think we're I think we're the opposite of weird. They're weird. You know what they do? They work with the press on coming up with a soundbite, just a soundbite. And every station that night, all the networks, CBS and ABC, NBC, they all said, oh, they were called weird. It's unbelievable. You know, it's not a word that's really used too much in politics, but it's a terrible thing that they can do this. It's just a soundbite. No, J.D. Vance is a great patriot, and he's a United States Marine, and he's a real Marine, and he's a brilliant guy. And he went to Ohio State. He graduated in 2 years at the top of his class, just about at the top of his class. And he then got into Yale, and he became a Marine. He got into Yale, and he did great at Yale. And he met his wife, who was actually, I think, the #1 student at Yale. They have a smart family. And we picked somebody that was very special, and he's really stepped up. I said, you got your sea legs, you know, because the first day they were hitting him with a lot of nonsense. And he's got his sea legs now. He's going to be great. I think don't we like him? And he's for the working man and woman. Tim Walz is the man who's very freakish. He's very freakish. If Comrade Walz and Comrade Harris win this November, the people cheering will be the pink-haired Marxists, the looters, the perverts, the flag burners, Hamas supporters, drug dealers, gun grabbers, and human traffickers. But with a Trump-Vance victory, the cheers will come from the police officers, the firefighters, the Border Patrol agents, the steel workers, small business owners, parents, and hardworking citizens of every race, religion, color, and creed. And that's what we're doing. We're getting record numbers in the Hispanic community, record numbers in so many different communities. Nobody's ever actually seen. You know, this is the greatest movement in the history of our country. You do know that. Remember they used to say, no, MAGA's a good solid 35% of the party. No, it's 95% of the party, not 35. They used to say that. You know, they're very cunning people. Oh, MAGA's 35, and it was 35, really? No, it's 95% of the party, and I think it's probably 90%. I think the whole country. Think of it, who wants open borders? Who wants men playing in women's sports? And I'd like to congratulate the young woman who transitioned from a man into a boxer. You saw she won the gold medal. How about the young beautiful Italian boxer? She got in there and she didn't know what was going on, and she was a very good boxer, you know, against other women. She didn't count on this. And he's up here, boom, one little jab. Whoa, she goes, nobody ever hit me that way. Then he goes, boom, and she said, okay, I had enough. It's crazy what they're doing. And this person won the gold medal. Did they win the gold medal today? What do you think of that, Tim? I don't think Tim likes it. Greg, no good, right? Now, how crazy is it? How crazy is it? For 4 more years, and she wants it. She wants men to play in women's sports. She wants to take away your guns. All of the stuff. And now she's going to deny it. Watch. She'll come out with a statement. She'll deny it. And remember one thing. I'm going to say it again later because it's so important. No tax on tips. Do we like that? And they're just the opposite. They're driving people crazy. And our senior citizens, we're not going to have them pay tax any longer on Social Security. Okay? Those two things. 4 more years of crazy Kamala Harris means 50 million illegal aliens pouring into our country over another 4 years. 50 million, could be 50 million more. They're overrunning our country. They're destroying our country. They're ruining our country, and they're making our country very unsafe. These are very tough people. These are criminals coming out of jails. These are people that are tough. The only good thing about them is they make our criminals look like weak sisters. That's it. These are really tough, nasty people. And we can't have it. You know, we all have a heart, but we can't have it. It means double-digit inflation decimating your savings, and your savings are being decimated. I know what you're going through. It means violent crime ripping through the suburbs. You know, they talk about women. I think suburban women like me a lot. You know, it's fake stuff. Why wouldn't they? Why wouldn't they? You know, I put something in when I was president. There will be no low-income housing developments built in areas that are right next to your house. You have a house in the suburbs. You're so proud. And then they want to build a low-income job with a 30-story building next to your house. And your house is worthless. And I stopped it. And then they say, well, I don't think suburban women like them. I think they like me. I'm going to keep criminals out of your neighborhood. That's really all that matters. I think they like me anyway. You're not going to have migrant criminals preying on our women and our girls while guns are confiscated from the law-abiding citizens. They want to take away your guns, and then they want to have our country overrun with some of the worst criminals there are anywhere in the world. And they come from all over the world. They come from Africa. They come from Asia. They come from the Middle East. They come from all over. A large boatload came recently from the Congo. Where do you come from? Where in the Congo? Prison. What did you do wrong? We do not want to say. Murder. It was murder. And they're dumping them into our country. You know the money they're saving, these other countries? Their prison population is way down. The money they're saving is, they've never had it so good. And if I were running any of those countries, if I were running Colombia, if I were running Brazil, I'd be doing the same thing, but I'd be doing it faster than they're doing it. Why wouldn't you do it? It's common sense. Dump all of your criminals. You know, in Venezuela, crime is down 72%. You know why? Because he took all of the criminals out of Caracas and out of all the cities. He took all of them out and dumped them into the United States. He emptied his prisons into the United States of America. Why are we taking this? Why do we take this? Why? So don't take my word for it. Listen. Kamala Harris's agenda straight from her own mouth. Would anybody like to see her? Let's do it for a couple of seconds. Go ahead.
Yeah, I am radical. We need to get radical about what we are doing and take it seriously.
As President of the United States, I am prepared to get rid of the filibuster to pass a Green New Deal. There's no question I'm in favor of banning fracking.
We have to have a buyback program, and I support a mandatory buyback program.
I believe it will totally eliminate private insurance.
Let's eliminate all of that.
But would you support changing the dietary guidelines?
Yes.
The food pyramid. But people
yes. Yes.
To reduce red meat specifically.
Yes, I would.
Raise your hand if your government plan would provide coverage for undocumented immigrants.
Where do you stand on defund the police?
This whole movement is about rightly saying we need to take a look at these budgets.
Harris asserted that ICE is perceived as the modern-day Ku Klux Klan.
Are you aware that there's a perception?
I see no.
Are you aware that there's a perception?
That puts ICE in the same category as the KKK. Is that what you're asking me? I see no parallel.
I'm not finished.
I see none.
And yeah, I am radical. We need to get radical about what we are doing.
And that's just a small part of it. That's just a small part. That's what we have, though. That's where they're going. We're going. Remember I said we will not become a socialist country? And I meant it, except I was wrong. We didn't become a socialist. We're going beyond socialism. We're becoming, if they get in, a communist, full-blown communist country. This is America. We're not a communist country. We're not going to let that happen. And Kamala is not just, she's not just dangerously extreme, and she is extreme, much more so than Biden, because Biden didn't know he was alive, let's face it, okay? Are you a socialist? What does that mean? What does it mean? Are you a communist, Joe? I don't know. So he was sort of dangerous because the people around the Resolute desk ran the country. Don't forget, he went after me. He weaponized government to go after me. I don't believe it was him. I believe it was the People's Circle. I could name every one of them. They're bad people. And we won our big case in Florida. Great, brilliant judge who was so smart and strong. And she didn't listen to the nonsense. And, you know, they play the ref with judges. They criticize them all the time, scream at them, treat them horribly. Justices, the justices of the Supreme Court, all judges, and they think they're playing the ref like the great Bobby Knight, right? Play the ref now. They're not putting up with it anymore. What they are doing is, in my opinion, totally illegal. Kamala is grossly incompetent and, in my opinion, has a very low IQ. But we'll find out about her IQ during the debate, okay? Let's find out about her IQ. So, you know, we have this great system. I want to show you just one other thing, please. Do you mind putting it up, please? Thank you.
We've been to the border.
You haven't been to the border.
And I haven't been to Europe. And I don't understand the point that you're making. Talking about the significance of the passage of time, right? The significance of the passage of time. So when you think about it, there is great significance to the passage of time.
Ukraine is a country in Europe. It exists next to another country called Russia. Russia is a bigger country. Russia is a powerful country. Russia decided to invade a smaller country called Ukraine. So basically that's wrong.
So you're now no longer are you necessarily keeping those private files in some file cabinet that's locked in the basement of the house. It's on your laptop, and it's then therefore up here in this cloud that exists above us, right? The Caribbean nations, island nations, in the Western Hemisphere. That's where the Caribbean is. We are also in the Western Hemisphere. They are our neighbors. I am here, standing here on the northern flank, on the eastern flank, talking about what we have in terms of the eastern flank. I can imagine what can be and be unburdened by what has been, you know? Space is exciting. It is time for us to do what we have been doing, and that time is every day. Every day it is time for us to agree that there are things and tools that are available to us to slow this thing down. We will work together and continue to work together to address these issues, to tackle these challenges, and to work together as we continue to work. Do you ban plastic straws? I think we should. Yes. I mean, look, I'm going to be honest. It's really difficult to drink out of a paper straw when you have, if you don't gulp it down immediately, it starts to bend. Yes. And then, you know, the little thing catches it, and then, you know, so we got to kind of perfect that one a little bit more. Do you know, okay, a bit of a history lesson. Do you know that the women's teams were not allowed to have brackets until 2022? So the United States shares a very important relationship, which is an alliance with the Republic of North Korea. AI is kind of a fancy thing. First of all, it's 2 letters. It means artificial intelligence. As a woman, there's a balance to be struck between being tough and being a Turn that off.
So if you listen to Kamala's speeches, you'd never even know that she's been running the country. She's been running the country for 4 years and doing a horrible job. Look at what's happened to our country. We are a failing nation. I hate to say it. We are a failing nation. I wish I didn't have to do this. I wish I didn't have to go and do this. I wish they were great. I wish they'd make our country great, but they're going to destroy our country. You know it. They even know it, and probably they're doing it on purpose. It's hard to believe, but they're probably doing it on purpose. Kamala is working full-time to erase her record of open borders, transgender anything, high energy costs, taxes, interest rates, which are at sky levels, rising crime rates, and wars all over the world. We're in wars all over the world. You know, when I left, we had nothing. We had no wars. The world respected your country. We had no wars. Viktor Orban, who's the prime minister, the boss of Hungary, and knows everything very well. They asked him, what's wrong? The world is breaking out in wars all over. He said, there's one thing wrong. The United States needs Donald Trump back as president. And if you have that, which is true, you won't have any of these problems. You won't have any of these problems. Russia would have never, ever attacked Ukraine. Israel would never have been attacked on October 7th, and you wouldn't have inflation, and you wouldn't have had the horrible Afghanistan embarrassment, the most embarrassing day, I think, in the history of our country. On Election Day, we're going to tell this radical left country buster, she's a country buster, that we've had enough. We can't take it anymore. We're going to say, Kamala Harris, you're fired. You've done a horrible job. You're fired. Get out of here. Get out. Get the hell out of here, Kamala. Right? If Kamala wins, foreign leaders will treat America's president as a joke. They already do. Now we have two jokes. Think of it. What's going to happen? Russia gets a little nasty. China, President Xi, I know him very well, got along with him very well until COVID, in which case I said that's the end of that. But President Xi, these are fierce people. These are fierce people. They don't even know who the head of our country is. Who do we have? Are we dealing with Biden? Biden probably should get out, but she should get out also. I think they should both get out. I'll tell you what. Do we have a volunteer? Yes, I will volunteer, okay? We have to straighten out. We have to straighten out our country. They're not going to do it. They will rip us off more than ever before. These foreign countries are ripping us off at levels that you've never seen before, and we had them held back. Russia respected us. China respected us. I took in hundreds of billions of dollars from China. No other president took in not 10 cents. For years, they ripped us off, and our country will never be given a chance for a future. We're never going to have a future back. If we don't solve this problem now, we can't go like this any longer. We're not going to have a country any longer. When I win, we're going to win. When I win, America will be respected again, because you will once again have a president who puts America first. And you have a president who will fight, fight, fight. Thank you. Thank you. For 4 incredible years under our administration, I stood up for America, and we achieved more than any administration in the history of our country. There's never been a period of time like we had for 4 years. There's never been. And then we had COVID, and we got rid of it. We never got, I got great credit for the economy, great credit for the military. We defeated ISIS rapidly. I started no wars. First time in 78 years I started we didn't have any wars, these endless wars. They keep going and going, people getting killed all over the place, spending billions and billions. We passed the largest tax cuts and regulation cuts in the history of our country. We achieved record low unemployment rates, record low poverty rates, and rising wages for everybody. Everybody in this room. Your wages increased, your money increased, your businesses increased. Whatever you do, everything was better for 4 years. We unlocked American energy independence, and soon would have been energy dominant. We were going to be energy dominant. We took on the globalists and corrupt special interests. We ended the NAFTA disaster, concealed. And think of that. We got out of TPP. Do you know what TPP? That's if you want to have manufacturing in this country, they were going to take it all away. Trans-Pacific Partnership, TPP, we took it away. We withdrew from the horrible Paris Climate Accord. It sounds so nice. I want the Montana Climate Accord, not the Paris Climate Accord. And stood up to China like never before, bringing in tens of billions of dollars. Think of it, though. No other president ever brought up, they never confronted China. And China respected us. We built 571 miles of border wall, and we took it out. We took it out of our military because Congress was impossible. So I said, we're taking it out of our military because it's an invasion of our country. That worked. They sued me all over the place. We won. We ended catch and release. We stopped asylum fraud. We brought illegal immigration to the lowest level ever recorded. That's per your chart. We fully rebuilt the U.S. military and created a thing called Space Force, which is so important. And now we are leading in space. Nobody thought that was possible. And for our great veterans, of which you have a lot in your great state, we passed VA accountability and VA choice, right? They've been trying to get them for 50 years. Accountability is you get rid of the sadists and the bad people that took advantage and harmed our heroes, our great people. They beat them up. They were sadists. They were thieves. There were a lot of bad things. We had no right under civil service and other things to fire them. If we caught them stealing hundreds of thousands of dollars, you couldn't do anything about it. I got a law passed in Congress. We got rid of 9,000 bad people and hired people that love our veterans. And then on choice, so we have some great doctors in the VA, but you couldn't get to them. It would take sometimes months. People would be a little bit ill, and they'd end up becoming terminally ill because you couldn't get to the doctors. If you had to wait more than one day for a doctor, I allowed you to go out, get a local doctor, get yourself taken care of, and we pay for the bill. And Steve Daines helped a lot on that. Actually, Steve, that was a great thing. And we had a 92% approval rating at the VA, the Veterans Administration, 92%. That was the highest rating ever. Now it's down into the 40s, We obliterated ISIS, and unlike Harris, we stood up and we took care of our friend Israel. We have a problem over there, big problem. We have a lot of people that are looking to destroy Israel. Look, the bottom line, we got to get peace over in the Middle East. The Middle East is blowing up largely because our country doesn't know what's happening. They have no idea what's happening. We are going to take care of it. We did the Abraham Accords. It brought peace to the Middle East. We would have had every country signed up right now. If the election weren't rigged, we would have had every single country signed up right now. And I'm proud to be the first president in decades who really, and I talk about it as much as I can because Hillary Clinton stood on the stage. They said, look at him. He's going to start wars. And I said, no. I'm going to stop the wars. You're the one that started the wars. You people, the stupid people, started the war. But I did finish the war on ISIS, and everybody said we couldn't beat ISIS, too malleable, too all over the place. Did it in 4 weeks. We knocked it out, and that's where I learned we have a great military. We don't have a woke military. We have some stupid people on the top that are woke. We have a great military. What they did for me against ISIS was incredible. 4 years ago, America's future was blazing bright, and Kamala and Crooked Joe came in and drove our country off the cliff. They've taken our country to levels. We're being laughed at all over the world. All over the world, they're laughing at America. They're laughing at your United States. But with your vote, the reign will be over. That horrible reign in a way, it's a reign of terror. You know, it's a weak reign. It's an incompetent reign. But they want to put good people in jail that shouldn't be in jail. It's a very dangerous reign, actually, and people aren't going to take it. It's a very dangerous reign led by very incompetent people. New era of strength and prosperity and freedom will soon ring true. The moment I take the oath of office, we will seal the border, stop the invasion, and send the illegal aliens back home where they belong. Right? Under the so-called border czar Harris, illegal aliens are stampeding into America by the millions and millions. They're coming from prisons. They're coming from jails. They're coming from all over the place. They're coming from countries we've never even heard of. Most of the people in this room have never heard. They're coming from some very bad places, evil places. Every day, Kamala is letting migrant criminals roam free to assault, rape, mutilate, and kill our citizens. Look at what's happening to our cities. Our cities are being overrun, and they're being taken care of, and our veterans are not being taken. Our veterans are forced to sleep on the street, and these people are given hotel rooms in luxury hotels. Right here in Bozeman, an illegal alien brutally stabbed to death a 19-year-old young man. You know all about it. And when the police searched the illegal's car, they found 3 handguns, 2 rifles, a shotgun, and a record as long as your arm. On July 4th, a 42-year-old Nashville man died after he tried to stop an illegal alien from stealing tools out of his truck. The illegal alien did a number on this man that nobody could even believe. The police officer said one of the most vicious crimes they've ever seen. He was thrown from the hood of the illegal's pickup truck and left to die in the street after being beat to hell. And last month, a Venezuelan illegal alien criminal let in by Our so-called border czar, the border czar's a joke. She never went to the border. She never went to the border. Shot a female police officer in Texas multiple times with a rifle and started shooting over and over again. The choice in this election is between a mass amnesty with welfare, Social Security, and voting rights for the illegal. And they want to give illegal immigrants all of this. And here's all we're going to do. It's going to be called a Trump mass deportation because we have no choice. We have no choice. We have no choice. If Harris wins, a never-ending stream of illegal alien rapists, MS-13 animals, and child predators will ravage your communities. They're already ravaging your community. Don't forget, they haven't been here that long. They're getting used to it. When they get used to it, they're going to be coming at you at levels that nobody's ever seen before. We have a new form of crime. It's called migrant crime, and it's going to be as vicious as any crime ever seen in this country before. And it's a guarantee. In addition, we have hundreds and hundreds of terrorists in our country that have been allowed in. We didn't allow them in. We had a strong border. We had 1 year where Border Patrol actually said under Trump in 2019, 1 year, one of our 4 years, 0 terrorists. Now, I don't really believe that because I don't believe that's possible. But they have it down as a 0. 0 terrorists were able to get into our country. Now we have hundreds and hundreds of people coming in, thousands of people coming in, and these are the world's worst terrorists. And it's 100% certain that really bad things are going to happen. So we don't have a choice. Vote Republican and we will begin the largest deportation operation in American history. And I don't say that with fondness. I don't even know. I don't say that with, I don't even know if that's good politics or bad politics. People would say, oh, Trump is too tough. We don't like him. We don't like him. He's taking murderers out of our country, but we don't like him. He shouldn't be taking murderers out of our country. The truth is, Dwight Eisenhower, he was a sort of a moderate type of guy, General Eisenhower. He was president. Do you know when he was president, he was the strongest president in history outside of what we did, the strongest in history on the border. He hated when people came into our country illegally. And we want people to come into our country, but they have to come in through a process. They have to come in legally. We want people. Harris has let them all in, and we will send them all back. We have to send them back to their countries. Their country, when I came in, we had a lot of MS-13 gang members. They're probably the toughest gang in the world, really ruthless people. And I came in, I said, we got to get them out. I told one of the generals, sir, they won't let us have them in. Under President Obama, the countries where they came from, Honduras and Guatemala and all over the place they come, from South America in this case, the countries said, we're not letting them back in. And they would put major aircraft, big airplane, on the runway. So if we were coming in with a plane, you couldn't land, they'd come back. They blocked up the road, so if we bust them in, if we took them in by ship, any way we took them in, they wouldn't let them back. So the general told me that, sir, I'm sorry, we can't get them back. They'll never take them back. They don't want them back. MS-13 gang members. Who can blame them, right? So I said, how much money do we pay them? He goes, sir, we pay them $750 million a year. Sir? I said, all right, inform the countries that they're delinquent. They're not taking their criminals back. They're sending criminals in. They send them in the caravans. They put some really bad types in the caravans, and they pour in by the thousands, that we're not paying them anymore. We're ending it on day one. I signed a document. The next day I come into the beautiful Oval Office, so beautiful, resolute desk. I sit down. Sir, we have a call from Guatemala. Sir, we have a call from Mexico. We have all these calls, and they call and they wanted to know, sir, we understand there's a misunderstanding. I said, no, why? There's no misunderstanding. You're sending your criminals into our country and you're not taking them back. And I'm not paying you any more. You're not getting any more subsidy from the United States of America. And they all said the same thing. The calls came in early in the morning, they all said the same thing. Sir, there must be a misunderstanding. There's a misunderstanding, sir. We would love to have MS-13 back in our country. We love them very much, sir. They're wonderful people. And we took tens of thousands. We took thousands and thousands out. You know, believe it or not, there were a lot on Long Island. You read the story where they killed two beautiful 16-year-old girls walking to school, and they killed them with a knife. They sliced them up into little pieces. You know why? Because that's much more painful than getting shot. And they wanted to. What they did, they were animals. And you know who took care of it? ICE. And all of these people like Kamala, they want to abandon ICE. They want to drop ICE. These guys are so incredible. They're brave. You know, I know some of the people in the front row, and they're really tough guys, and they're brave guys, and I know them pretty well. They don't want to work for ICE. ICE would get in, they'd get up to the gangs in Ohio, and a lot of them in New York, and amazing, as I said, in Long Island, and they'd walk into a gang of 15 of the toughest guys you've ever seen, and you'd see fists and feet and back and forth, and it would go on for 3-4 minutes, and then the ICE guys would get up and they'd take these guys into a paddy wagon, put them in, and would bring them back to their country. And then she wants to get rid of ICE. These are incredible patriots. They're tough people, and they love our country as much as anybody, and maybe more than most. One of the most sinister accomplices in Kamala's plot to demolish American borders has been her ally and partner in the U.S. Senate, one of the biggest phonies in American politics. His name is Jon Tester. And I don't speak badly about somebody's physical disability, but he's got the biggest stomach I have ever seen, I swear. I swear. That's the biggest stomach. I have never seen a stomach like that. Because he doesn't look that heavy. You're not allowed to use the word fat. So if you use the word fat, you can say obese, you can say anything, but you can't say fat. That's the end of your political career. I said it the other night. Somebody in the audience said, Chris Christie is a fat pig. And I said, sir, Chris Christie is not a fat pig. You should not. And we argued about it for 3 or 4 minutes. So that was, no, he's not a fat pig. For years, Tester has been telling Montana that he's a moderate while he votes with Biden, Harris, and Bernie Sanders, and Elizabeth Warren, Pocahontas. Remember Pocahontas? Pocahontas. I have more Indian blood in me than she has in her, and I have none. I happen to have none. But Kamala votes with them 100% of the time. Did you know that, Steve? 100% of the time. I promise you, Tim will not be voting 100%. He may vote with them 0. I would say 0 would be closer. But in a 50-50 Senate, Tester could have single-handedly stopped the invasion of our country, but he voted against stopping it. Instead, Tester voted for mass amnesty. He voted against the border wall, totally voted against the wall. Who the hell would vote against the wall? He voted against remain in Mexico. Remember, I had the policy, the greatest policy of all. You couldn't come into our country, you had to remain. They had hundreds of thousands of people that came up from the South. Hundreds of thousands, they couldn't get into our country. He ended it, and these people came in. You think it was easy to get that deal with Mexico? It was very tough. I had to say, I'm going to put a lot of tariffs on you to give it to me or not. They were very nice. It was amazing. They wouldn't give it to me. They said, no, sir, we won't do that. I said, all right, I'm going to tariff your cars at 100%. Sir, we would love to give you that. We would love a policy of remain in Mexico. We think it's wonderful. You got to see Tijuana. Tijuana was the fastest growing city in the history of the world. They were having hundreds of thousands of people pour into Tijuana, but they couldn't come into our country. Because I said to Mexico, you can stop them. You can stop them at your southern border, down below. And you know those caravans, I think I came up with that name, but they are a caravan. They're very horrible, very dangerous for women, very dangerous. Women die all the time. They're being raped. They're dying. The whole thing is a horror show. He voted against Title 42, that's a bad one. He voted against increasing funding for ICE. He voted to provide the deciding vote to shield illegal alien criminals like the one who murdered Laken Riley from deportation. He didn't want the person deportated. He didn't want any deportation for that person. If you elect John Tester, you are approving the Harris plan to make the 20 million Biden illegals into voting citizens. She said today she wants to give them the right to vote. Many of these people are killers and criminals. They're not going to have the right to vote, and they're not going to destroy our country. She also voted to give them welfare, government health care, and let them raid Medicare and Social Security until there's nothing left. They will destroy Social Security. I will save your Social Security with no increase in age or anything else. John Tester cast the decisive vote to approve every single bill that caused record inflation. Remember the Inflation Reduction Act? It was a phony. They used the term Inflation Reduction. It was actually an Inflation Increase Act. It was a disaster, but they lied because that's what they're good at. They're con people. You know what they are? Misinformation, disinformation. After they got the bill passed, which they shouldn't have had, trillions of dollars, inflation went through the roof. He cast a vote to kill the Keystone XL pipeline. Do you remember that? The Keystone X. What the hell are these reporters doing over here? Pulitzer Prize winner. Doug Mills, the great Doug Mills, Pulitzer Prize. Even though he works for the New York Times, that's okay. He works for the New York Times, and that's one of the only Pulitzer Prizes that was actually earned. They got this woman, Maggot Hagerman. Did you ever hear of it? Maggot Hagerman. She's a reporter. She pretends like she knows more about Trump. I have nothing to do. If the woman speaks to me once in a year, today I called her, I said, your stories are all fake. Why don't you stop it? But think of it. They have a man here who I really like. He's a great photographer. Doug, it's nice to have you. Make me look nice and thin if you don't mind. He voted for environmental extremist Tracy Stone Manning to lead the Bureau of Land Management, and he voted the radical left Interior Secretary, Deb Haaland, you know who that is, don't you, to wage war on your rights and on your industries, and they really did wage war. But we have a man here, and I'm going to introduce some of your people. We have a man here who knows Tester better than I do, better than anybody does. And Tester and I have nothing to do with each other. And when you watch his commercials, you can forget it. He never votes for me. He voted to impeach me. That guy voted to impeach me, stomach brimming out like a big slob. I want to impeach. Why? I don't know. What did he do wrong? I did nothing wrong. But I have to tell you, the Republicans stuck with me, and we won very easily. We beat it. But there's a man named Ronnie Jackson. He comes from Texas, and he heard it was a race against Tester, and he was treated so unfairly. Could I ask Congressman, Admiral, Doctor? He's a doctor. He was my White House doctor. He was Obama's White House doctor and Bush's White House doctor. He was also an admiral. So he was an admiral and a doctor. Then he became the doctor in the White House. And you know when I fell in love with him? They said, who's the healthiest? He took care of Bush, Obama. Did anybody ever hear of Barack Hussein Obama? Yes. He took care of Obama, and he took care of Trump. And they said, who's the healthiest of those presidents? And he said, without question, it's Donald J. Trump. And I said, I love this guy. Ronnie Jackson.
Thank you, Mr. President. Thank you. Howdy, Montana, from the great state of Texas. All right. Look, I want to tell you a little bit about this man, John Tester. This man who says that he represents Montana in the Senate. This man who tells you that he's up there trying to clean the place up and trying to fix what's broken. This man is a sleazy, disgusting swamp politician. He's a fraud and he's a liar. I was in the Navy for 25 years. For 25 years, I was on active duty serving my country. I was an emergency medicine physician, right? I went to Iraq with the United States Marine Corps to a surgical shock trauma platoon on the battlefield between Fallujah and Ramadi. I spent the last 14 years of my career in the Navy on active duty at the White House, serving 3 presidential administrations and taking care of 3 presidents, including the best president this country's ever had, Donald J. Trump. A spotless, flawless career in the Navy. I had never had a single complaint about anything. I was a Navy Rear Admiral. And at the end of my time in the military, while I was still on active duty, President Trump had the trust and confidence in me to nominate me as the Secretary of Veterans Affairs, which I was happy to. However, let me tell you, John Tester, at that time, was the ranking member on the Senate Veterans Affairs Committee. He was going to oversee that process. He was also up for re-election. It was 2018. He decided that it was in his political best interest and would help his election if he could come out and be the guy that tore down one of Donald Trump's cabinet nominees. He came after me. He tried to destroy me. He tried to destroy my family. He got together with some disgruntled employees that worked for me at the White House who were upset because they didn't get promoted or get something they wanted during their time at the White House. One of them, in fact, is currently Joe Biden's doctor. They got together with him and his staff, and they made up completely absurd accusations and lies about me to tear down my nomination. They said that he labeled me on TV as the Candy Man. Right? He said that I was recklessly prescribing narcotics. I can tell you, I can count right here on this hand right here how many times I prescribed narcotics at the White House in 14 years. He put that out there. He said that I got drunk and wrecked a government vehicle. Any 2-bit investigator can figure out whether or not that happened. He knew it didn't happen. He knew it. And it's been proven that it didn't happen since then. He did not care. He was going to destroy me to better his career, and he passed that information to these morons in the back, right? The mainstream media, who were all too willing to carry this water. And let me tell you, they don't work for you. They work for swamp creatures like John Tester. That's who they work for. Anyways, look, this man tried to destroy me. He tried to destroy my family. I've been waiting for 6 years to get back here for this night, to be with this man right here, to come after him. The end of John Tester starts tonight. And it starts by bringing this man back to the White House so that he can continue the work that he did draining the swamp when he was the president before. He's the best president we've ever had, and he's the only one that can do the job now. So get him back into office. The next thing we're going to do is we're going to bring Tim Sheehy to the Senate to replace this swamp hippopotamus, John Tester. So I want to thank you all for coming out and for showing your support and your willingness to help us take this country back. We've got 87 days left. Let's get it done.
Great job. Other than that, he likes him very much. But I was a part, I maybe blame myself. I said to her, he was a great admiral, highly respected in the Navy. He was a great White House doctor. So you have leadership and you have the doctor. So I figure, what's better for the VA? So I went to Ronnie and I said, Ronnie, what do you think of the possibility of you running the VA? You're a great leader. You're a great admiral, highly respected in the Navy, war veteran, everything. He had everything you could have. And on top of that, he's a great doctor, a great man, a great personality. Everyone loves him. And, you know, I went to him, I said, what do you think? And he didn't want it. He said, sir, I'd rather not, but he's an incredible patriot. He said, but if you want me to do it, because he was ready to retire and go on to move to Texas and do whatever he was going to do. He said, if you want me to do it, sir, I'll do it. He didn't want to do it. Everybody else would want it, but he really would have preferred not. I said, Ronnie, I did him such a great favor. Ronnie, you'll be great. So I let it out that I'd like to put Ron. I didn't even put it out officially. I let it out to the fake news. I said I'd like to put Ronnie in as the head of the Veterans Administration. And that's when Tester hit. And it was vicious. It was vicious. It was really... And I didn't even say it. After it happened, I said, Ronnie, it's really unfair. And, they sent out people, and we did too, to investigate every charge this slob made, and every charge was totally false. And he has an incredible family, an incredible wife. He has a son. I was making the commencement address at Annapolis. His son was one of the best students at Annapolis, right at the top of the class. And I had to look at the son, and I had to say, what they're doing to your father is really unfair. This is one of the finest men you'll ever see. And that John Tester couldn't have cared less. He just wanted publicity for himself, and it's a disgrace. You have to defeat John Tester. I'm telling you, you have to defeat. You have to do it. And when Ronnie heard what I was doing, he said, oh, you're going to Montana. Does that have anything to do with Tester? I said, actually, it does. We're trying. He said, may I go? He was in Texas. So he had to travel longer than I did. But Ronnie Jackson's one of the finest men, and it was a shame, and really a shame. And you ought to get rid of that guy's bad news. Montana, you've got to do it, and you're going to do it. And I want to bring up, if I could, you heard him just for a second, because I want to shake his hand. He's a spectacular person. He was picked by Steve Daines and a group of people. We were looking for perfection because we didn't want any excuses. The fact that he's handsome should have nothing to do with it, but he is a handsome guy. But he's got everything. He's highly successful, great education, Purple Heart recipient, a former Navy SEAL, which, as you know, is a big deal. It's a tough thing to be. A combat veteran at the highest level, a Bronze Star. And he's got his valor. It's Valor for Heroism Award. The other one talks about valor. He has a different kind of a valor. It's the opposite. But Tim Sheehy is going to be an outstanding senator. He was a great businessman, an aerospace company. He started it in a barn in Montana, right here. Employed a lot of people, turned it into a big success. And I'd like to ask, just to say a few words real quickly, Tim Sheehy, you've got to vote for him. Thank you. Tim, come on. Come on up.
Thank you, Mr. President. It's an honor to have you here. Listen, I always supported the Trump policies. I never knew the man, but I supported the policies, no question. But I became a true follower of his about 4 years ago. For those of us who fought in the Middle East, we knew who we were really fighting the whole time. It was Iran. They were murdering us. They've been murdering Americans for 45 years. They were blowing us up with EFPs. They were sending their hit teams across the border and killing us so we could never cross back over and get them. We could never touch them. It was a one-way fight. And in the Obama years, those of you who were there, our hands were tied. I had to watch these guys get killed and sent home in boxes, and we couldn't do anything about it. And that was so frustrating. It made me sick. And a few years ago, when we were fighting ISIS, Trump told the Iranians, don't touch any Americans. We're here to fight ISIS. You touch one hair on any American's head, we're going to kill you. And they didn't believe him. And they didn't believe him. And then they launched some rockets at some Americans up at Balad. And we lost a couple. And Trump didn't hesitate. The next day, he dropped a bomb on that son of a bitch, Qasem Soleimani, and blew him to pieces. He blew him to pieces. And I told the president in person the first time we met, I said, listen, you may endorse me or not, you may support me or not, but I'll tell you one thing, you will always have my loyalty because you're the guy that dropped the bomb on that son of a bitch Soleimani, and you'll always have your back for that. But listen, Biden, Harris, Waltz, whatever you want to call them, they are selling you out every single day. They are selling out hardworking Americans. They are taking your money out of your pocket and giving it to illegal immigrants. They're taking money out of your pocket and sending billions of dollars of it overseas to other countries while you're going broke. Our gas prices have doubled and tripled. Inflation's through the roof. Your life is worse off because the policies of this administration that John Tester has voted for every single time are killing America. So this fall, we got to send Donald Trump back to the White House and John Tester back to Big Sandy.
Great job. Thank you, Tim. Thank you very much, Tim. And I have to say, Tim stands for very strong borders, all the things that we want. He wants strong borders, a very strong military, low taxes, low inflation. But more importantly than anything else, he wants to make America great again. He's going to do it. We're going to do it together. Also with us tonight, and I said it before, he's a special man, Senator Steve Daines. You're lucky to have him. He's an unbelievable, respected by everybody. And it's an honor to have him as a friend. And he wanted to do this race. He said, we have to do this race. We have to take control of the Senate and the House. We're going to do the House. We're going to do the Senate. And this is the answer right here. This is the one seat. We do this seat, we're going to win the Senate. So important. And Tim, you're going to be great. We appreciate it. Thank you very much. Steve, you're a fantastic man. Kids, you have a great father. Take good care of your father, okay? I mean that. And I alluded to it before. He's a fantastic guy, a friend of mine. I was one of the earliest to endorse him. Greg Gianforte, your governor. He's been respected by everybody. Greg, please. Please, thank you. A representative who has been absolutely a fantastic guy. He's a tough cookie. He's a great fighter. He has every military record you can have. Ryan Zinke, he's running for Congress again. Good luck, Ryan. You're going to do great. Thank you. I saw some good poll numbers on you today. That's very nice. And Ronnie Jackson, thank you for that speech you made. That was beautiful. And nobody could have done it nobody could do it like you. He knows this guy better than anybody, unfortunately. It was my fault, Ronnie. I shouldn't have done it. I should have said, Ronnie, enjoy your life. I had to say, come on, Ronnie. And I tell these horrible people back there, it's going to be Ronnie, oh boy. But you know what he did? He came back and he said, I'm going to run for Congress. And he ran, and he won. And he won big, big. All right? That's pretty good. Think of it. You're a great doctor, become the White House doctor. You're a great admiral, you're doing great. Then you decide, I'm going to run for Congress. So you have Congress, you have doctor, you have admiral. Who the hell has a career like that? That's pretty good. That beats all of us. Tim, that beats all of us, I think. Former acting attorney general and a friend of mine, Matt Whitaker. Thank you, Matt. Thank you very much. Great job. Your auditor. Oh, that's good because you have a lot of money here. Troy Downing. Thank you very much, Troy. Great job. Secretary of State Christy Jacobson. Christy, thank you. Good job. You have my endorsement. She's got my endorsement. They both do. I'm giving you my endorsement now. This way I don't have to go home and write it out. Is that okay? She has my endorsement, complete and total endorsement. Your great Attorney General, Austin Knudsen. Thank you, Austin. Great, beautiful family. Great family. State Party Chair, Don Kalschmidt. Where's Don? Don, thank you very much. Good job you're doing. They're all doing well, right? They're doing well, Don. You're doing a great job. RNC Chairman Michael Whatley, very powerful man. Michael, thank you. Thank you, Michael. Thank you, Michael. Well, he's got one function. We don't need the votes. He's going to stop the steal. He's going to stop the steal. He's going to make sure that those votes are properly counted. You ever hear things like this? You vote 2 months early and you need more time. We want to go back to one-day voting and paper ballots. Very simple. Very simple. But he did a great job. He was the head of the Republican Party in North Carolina when those other states were being robbed and rigged. That guy held so true, and he's going to do it with. He actually had 603 lawyers working, and other guys just said, you can never take it for granted with these people because they do something very, very well. You know what that is? They cheat. That's what they is. And in the audience is a man that I gave a pardon to, and I'm very proud. Would you stand up, please? Stand up. With a beautiful hat on right there. Yeah, stand up. I was very honored. Handsome guy, too. And people were very happy with that. You were happier than anybody, but it was my honor to do it. Thank you very much. And one of our greatest golfers in the history of, I'm a golfer, I love golf. This guy is a major golfer. He's a major friend of mine, one of the best ever. They knighted him in England or in UK, and he just knew how to win. He could take people and he'd play the best players in the world, and they always folded in front of him. In fact, I think I'm going to bring him into government because we like to get other people to fold. And his nickname is Foldo, but he's really, because he makes everyone, but his name is Faldo. Nick Faldo and his beautiful wife, Lindsay. Where is Nick? Where is Nick? That guy can play golf. He's won 6 majors and many, many tournaments, and he's one of the greatest ever. So thank you very much. It's an honor as a golfer. I don't know how many. Does anybody play golf? Did anybody ever hear of Nick Faldo? Yeah, they heard. Thank you very much, Nick. It's an honor. You are a piece of work. He's a tough cookie, too. You talk about a tough cookie, that's a tough cookie. From the moment we take back the White House from Kamala and Crooked Joe, I believe we're going to have the 4 greatest years in the history of our country. Starting on day 1, we will end inflation and make America affordable again. To bring down the prices of all goods, we will stop the Biden-Harris war on American energy, and we will drill, baby, drill. We're going to bring them way down. That's what caused the inflation. Their stupid energy policies caused the inflation. I will terminate the Green New Scam, deliver historic regulation cuts, and I will end the Biden-Harris electric vehicle mandate on day 1. You want to have a gasoline-propelled car, or if you want a hybrid, or if you want an electric car, it's great. But you can have your choice. Whatever you want, you're going to have your choice. That's the way it should be. We will pass massive tax cuts for workers, and that includes no tax on tips, as I said. We're going to stop outsourcing, demand a level playing field for the American worker, and turn the United States into the manufacturing superpower of the world. We had it going so beautifully, and then these stupid people came along and ended it. We're going to be the manufacturing superpower of the world, and we can do it so easy. We're going to rebuild our cities into beacons of hope and safety and beauty, better than they have ever been before, and we will end the migrant crime epidemic, demolish the foreign drug cartels. We are going to demolish those cartels. We're going to crush gang violence, support our police, and lock up violent offenders behind bars. And we are going to straighten out the crime in our cities. We are going to straighten out the crime in our country. We're going to get it done fast. We will deport pro-Hamas radicals and make our college campuses safe and patriotic again. You see what's happening. And before I even arrive at the Oval Office, I will have the horrible war between Russia and Ukraine settled. I will restore peace through strength. That's what I did. We had no wars. Think of it. No wars. No wars during the Trump administration, Steve. In my next term, we will build a great Iron Dome missile defense shield over our country, a dome like has never been seen before, and it will be entirely made in the USA, including Montana. And unlike Biden, who's destroying Social Security and so many other things, I will not cut 1 cent from Social Security. I will not raise the age, which they want to do. They're destroying Social Security and Medicare by allowing all of these people to come in on the plan. You earned it. You deserve it. We're going to preserve it for you just the way it is. Thank you. And as you know, I kept my promise for 4 years, and I will keep my promise very easily again. And seniors, as I said, will not pay taxes on their Social Security. That's a big deal. On day one, I will sign a new executive order to cut federal funding for any school pushing critical race theory, transgender insanity, and other inappropriate racial, sexual, or political content onto the lives of our children. We're not going to do it. I will not give 1 penny to any school that has a vaccine mandate or a mask mandate. Right? And I will keep men out of women's sports, if that's okay. See, Nick, at least in golf, you know, they got a putt, right? Maybe in golf they have a little chance, but not much. No, I don't see it. I know you too well. I don't see them playing against you. But the women golfers are doing very well. But what do you think, Nick? You keep men out of women's sports? You think that's okay? I think so, huh? I think so. I will fully uphold the Second Amendment. We will protect innocent life, and we will restore free speech in our country. And I will secure our elections. Our goal will be one-day voting with paper ballots, proof of citizenship, and a thing called voter ID. They don't want voter ID. Why don't they want voter ID? You know, we start off with voter ID and they say we don't want. You know why? Because they want to cheat. There's only one reason you don't want identification. You want to cheat. The radical left Democrats rigged the presidential election in 2020. We will not let them rig the presidential election in 2024. Not going to let them rig it. And we want to do this as a landslide. We're doing great in the polls, and so is Tim. We want to do this as a landslide, and the one way you win, guaranteed, no matter what they do, it's called, we want to win too big to rig. Too big to rig. Too big to rig. Gets too big, and they just say, oh, we can't do it. We can't do it. They got us. Too many votes. We have a lot of votes. So get your friends, get your family, and get out and vote in numbers. And America, I tell you what, like numbers that you've never seen before. I think that's going to happen. I think we're going to have the greatest election victory in the history of our country. And to help ensure election integrity, go to protectthevote.com. Protectthevote.com. So in conclusion, from Big Fork to Billings, from Glendive to Great Falls, and from Big Sky to right here in Bozeman, this state was built by some of the toughest men and strongest women ever to walk the face of the earth. Montana is the land of cowboys and cattle hands, ranchers and farmers, frontiersmen and soldiers, adventurers and pioneers who charged into the wilderness, scaled the Rockies, trekked through the ice and snow, and carved out a life in one of the most beautiful places in all of God's creation. It's true. I saw that. So true. It's so true. All of that driving today, there's no place more beautiful than this. Together they built this state. They helped make America into the single greatest nation in the history of the world. But now we are a nation in decline. We're a failing nation. We are a nation that has lost its confidence, lost its willpower, and lost its strength. We are a nation that has quite simply lost its way. But we are not going to allow this horror to continue. Less than 4 years ago, we were a great nation, and we will soon be a great nation again. It's going to go quickly. With our leadership, every disaster Kamala Harris and Joe Biden have created can be fixed, and it can be fixed quickly. It's going to have to be fixed quickly. We don't have time. Every problem can be solved and every wrong can be rectified. By this time next year, America's borders will be strong, sealed, and secure. Promise. Inflation will be in full retreat. Our economy will be roaring back. Optimism will be surging. The American dream, which you never hear about anymore, will be thriving again for citizens of every race, religion, color, and creed. Law and justice will reign all throughout our land. Freedom will be restored. The flame of liberty will be burning bright. Joe Biden and Kamala Harris, the worst administration in the history of our country, will be a fading memory of the past. And our great silent majority, including the once forgotten men and women of our country, will be the one shaping America's magnificent future when I am the 47th President of the United States. Because we are all Americans, and together we will show November 5th to be the most important day in the history of America. November 5th, Election Day, and that period will be the most important day and period in the history of our country. Our country will be greater than ever before. You have to remember November 5th and mark it down, the most important day in history. Because we are one movement, one people, one family, and one glorious nation under God. And together, we will make America powerful again. We will make America wealthy again. We will make America strong again. We will make America proud again. We will make America safe again. We will make America free again. And we will make America great again. Thank you, Montana. Thank you. Vote for Tim. Thank you very much, everybody.
Shout out to everybody watching the live show. You know what time it is. Smash the like button, subscribe to the channel. Okay, so that was Trump in Montana. That was about like 4 weeks ago. All right, so like I said, I will be throwing it back until September 10th, which will be the official debate between Comrade and OG Trump. So, you know what time it is. You know what time it is. The next video would be Trump in Georgia. This was about, say, like 3 weeks ago or like 4 weeks ago too. So I'm not sure for real, but we're playing this video so you can see and hear his policies and the things he wants to accomplish for the United States. However, he's also campaigning based on his performance. Okay, he's campaigning based on his performance. So he's not just here campaigning on what he's going to do. He's campaigning based on what he already did. Okay, and it's just wild that the current sitting vice president cannot campaign based on what has been done for the past 3.5 years, which, I mean, that means you've done nothing, basically. I mean, why would you want promotion when you haven't, proven yourself? You haven't proved yourself. So you got to prove yourself first before asking for promotion. Ain't nobody going to promote you. We are not going to promote you if you don't do a good job. If you have a job right now, if you don't do a good job, would you ask for promotion? I don't know. All right, so now we're going to go to Trump in Georgia. Smash the like button, subscribe to the channel, and of course, you can support the channel. The Cash App is right there. You don't have to, but if you want to, greatly appreciate it. Let's get it.
Deal, we will. And it all started to unfold when they started to leave about 10 minutes into the speech. It was very boring. I don't need entertainers. I fill the stadium because I'm making America great again. That's our entertainment. That's our entertainment, making America great again. And I have to tell you, we have thousands of people outside, and the state was terrific, but the fire marshal, I will say, could not have been better. Thank you to the fire marshal. But the school administration stopped us from getting another 500, 600, even 1,000 people in. Thousands of people were told no, and that was okay, but we could have fit another 600 people. So I don't know anything about the school. I don't know anything about this school, but they could have allowed more people. You got people standing outside. Look at all the people outside. They could have come in. They could have come in. So we're not happy. Hello out there. And then they actually pushed the people very far away from the building where we have beautiful cameras set up for the overflow crowds, the administration of the school. So I'm not sure if I'm going to be sending anybody to this school. I'm not happy about it. If they're going to stand in the way of admitting people to our rally, just imagine what they're going to do on Election Day. We're not going to let that happen. 94 days from now, we're going to win the great state of Georgia in an epic landslide. And we're going to defeat crazy Kamala. You know, there's about 19 different ways of saying it. She only likes 3. Biden never even came close. Hamala. No, it's Kamala. We're going to evict this radical and incompetent administration from the White House. They're destroying our country. We're going to save our country. We're going to save our country. Yesterday, it was announced that unemployment is surging, with 350,000 Americans joining the unemployment rolls just last month. Tell you what, we could end up in a depression. We could end up in World War III and a depression. How about that? Could happen, too. Under Harris-Biden policies, we now have the highest unemployment rate in 3 years. Just came out yesterday. Even I was surprised. Those numbers were terrible. If Harris wins this election, you will quickly have a Kamala economic crash. You're going to have a crash. You could also have a crash like in 1929, more specifically, because that's where we're heading. When we win, you will rapidly see a brand new Trump economic boom. It's going to be booming like it was 4 years ago. With your vote, inflation will stop. The illegal aliens will be turned back. They're not coming in. We got to stop them. Did you see where she's now saying, oh, we had a very good border. Oh, great. They had the worst border in the history of the world. It's all misinformation. That's all they're good at, that and cheating on elections. They're very good at that. The cartels will be crushed, crime will plummet, incomes will soar, the wars will end, and the American dream will come roaring back, bigger, better, and stronger than ever before, right? Yes? Thank you. But with 4 more years of Kamala, the California socialist, you know, she destroyed San Francisco. Then she destroyed the whole state. Look at what's going on in California. With your family and our country, it'll never recover. If you have any more time with these people, it's already, I'm worried about the next 3 months, if you think about it. These people are grossly incompetent. You'll end up in World War III. I'll tell you. And I hope I'm not right about that. You know, you ever see the hats? Trump is right about everything. I don't want to be right about that. Her policies of open borders and double-digit inflation, inflation like we've never seen before. It's destroying middle-income families, working families, all families. Will demolish your life savings. 40 or 50 million illegal aliens will invade our country during the next 4 years if they're in. 40 or 50 million. Medicare and Social Security. You know, she said she wants to put everybody on health care. You know, that's wonderful. It's all wonderful. First of all, they shouldn't be told to come here. Many of them were fine where they were. But no country can sustain this. Social Security will buckle and collapse. The suburbs will be overrun with violent crime and savage foreign gangs. That's what they're doing. You know, they're sending all their gangs into the United States, right? Look, there's front row Joes. You didn't get into the front row. What happened to you? What happened? Thank you. We have front row Joes. They've been to 229 rallies. And then look at these people. I call them the beautiful ladies, and you're not allowed to say that anymore. It's the end of your political career. You say beautiful. You're barely allowed to say ladies, right? Because that can also be destructive. But they're beautiful, they're ladies, and they're great. And they've been to 216 rallies from North Carolina. They look great. Happily married. I got to talk to their husbands. I don't know. They're way over 200 rallies, and they're incredible people. Thank you very much, by the way. Thank you. Appreciate it. Together, we will stop Kamala Harris's nation-wrecking. I'll tell you what, when you see what she's done to our nation, she's wrecking our nation. The radicalism will take back our country from the worst administration in American history. Biden was the worst president in the history of our country. She's acknowledged to be the worst vice president in the history of our country. She doesn't have a clue. You know, if she doesn't have a teleprompter, she can't even speak. Did you see her the other night? They put a camera in her face. She can't even talk. We just went through 4 years. Let's not go through another 4 years. Can't talk. No, it's terrible. You know, by the way, I'd like to congratulate Vladimir Putin for having made yet another great deal. Did you see the deal we made? Now, look, we want to get people in. You know, we got 59 hostages. I never paid anything. They released some of the greatest killers anywhere in the world, some of the most evil killers they got, and we got our people back. But, boy, we make some horrible, horrible deals, and it's nice to say we got them back, but does that set a bad precedent, Bert, right? Does that set a bad precedent, Bert? Harris has the most ultra-left-wing agenda of any presidential candidate ever in history. There's never been anybody like this. She is considered more left-wing than crazy Bernie Sanders. Look at her. She's worse than Bernie. And she happens to be really a low IQ individual. She really does. She has a very low IQ. We don't need a low IQ. President Xi of China said, oh, good, we have another one, a low IQ individual. They love dealing with low IQ. They love dealing with low IQ people, and they got him here, I'll tell you. We got them all. She is terrible. She's worse than he. I think she's worse than him. By the way, they really took it away from the guy, right? I don't feel sorry for him because he's a bad guy. You know, he's weaponized the whole thing, and nobody's ever done that in this country. But he's a bad guy. But people feel sorry for him. They did a coup. He just doesn't know it. But actually, he does know it. You know that. They said, Joe, you got 14 million votes. It's yours, but you're going to give it up. You're going to give it up right now, Joe. You're giving it up right now. No, I'm not. I was elected democratically. I was elected. No, you're giving it up, Joe. We're either going to do it the nice way or the hard way, Joe. You're getting the hell out. And it was the debate performance. So here's what happened in the debate. You know, we went there. It was the highest rated debate ever, and which was a great compliment. And as I left the debate stage, I took off because other people were entering the stage. You understand. I said, I don't want to confront other people. So we had a great debate. But as I left, CNN, I won't say who, but they said that was the single greatest debate performance I've ever seen. And this went on for 2 days. They were saying how great I was. On the third day, they didn't mention that anymore. They said he was terrible. I liked it the first way better. I made him choke. Don't kid yourself. We made him choke. He was choking like a dog. He was choking. He was choking like a dog. And that was the end of him. I mean, that was the end from that. Then they said, okay, this was a disaster. So then they started doing interviews with people that are, 100% bought. The media, the fake news media, they had some people interviewing him, like George Slopadopoulos. ABC. ABC's one of the worst, by the way. They're all sort of bad when you get right down, but ABC's bad. And they're asking him hardball questions like, where did you stay last night? Did you think you did well in the debate, even though you could? Did you ever see a guy in the debate, they give you like 2 minutes to answer. And you want to use up, you got so much fertility in there, you want to use up every second. And he'd answer a question. You have 92 seconds left. And I kept saying, I'll take them. And he said, you have 92 seconds left. He goes, oh. This is not what he wanted. He left a lot of time on the board. But I went right down to the last second. I didn't want to go a little bit over because I know they'd cut me. They would have cut me. But they were very fair, actually, CNN, shockingly, honestly. They were very fair. They want to do another one. We're doing one with Fox if she shows up. I don't think she's going to show up. She can't talk. She can read a teleprompter. I'd give her about a 6 on a scale of 10, 6. For talking, I'd give her less than a 1. We need people that can talk. Kamala pledged to give free taxpayer-funded health care to all illegal aliens. How do you like that idea? Which will destroy Social Security. She called for the abolition of ICE. Listen, ICE, I know some people here. 2 of them are really tough guys. They're fighters. They're vicious people. They're good, tough people. They don't want to work for ICE. ICE will go into a pack of MS-13 killers and thugs, and for about 2 minutes, you just see fists flying back and forth, and then they stand up and they win, and they grab them, they throw them in a paddy wagon, they get them the hell out of the country, and she's calling them the equivalent of KKK, okay? And she loves deadly sanctuary cities. By the way, all of the things you're hearing now, she's now denying. But, the one good thing about the internet, you press a button and you got it. Although they are trying to delete everything. They changed the picture of me from a couple of weeks ago, and they really radicalized it. They changed it, using AI, they changed it. They had all the people on the stage who were angry, and they were smart and sharp and very brave, and they had them all big smiles on their face. Can you believe that? They put the agents, who I have to tell you, say what you want, those people were brave. They were running to me, and the bullets were flying. The Secret Service, they were very brave. They were very brave, I can say. They were very brave. They were running at me, and they knew the bullets were going right over my head at that point. The first one was not a good situation. Not a good situation. That was really something incredible. That was from God. That was from God. Because the chances, that was from God. For all of you non-believers, that one was for God, right? Boom. That was a close one. But I just want to say, though, they were very brave. They pounced on me. They pounced on me, and I heard those things whizzing over me. They were whizzing, and I have to say that because people take abuse, and there were mistakes made. There were mistakes made, pretty bad ones. But the bravery of that moment was incredible. And also that the sniper, the Secret Service, who's a phenomenal talented shooter, one bullet from hundreds of yards away, if he doesn't hit his target, and he hit his target, boom. But from hundreds, if he doesn't hit the target, then you have Corey and a lot of other people that are dead. Corey was great. Two other great gentlemen, warriors, great Trump people. We love them. And they're really, we thought they were going to be gone too. The doctors were incredible. They did a great job, an unbelievable job. But if that sniper, and he had 5 seconds to think. He did not know about it beforehand, by the way. He had 5 seconds. He saw the flash, and he knew what that was. And within 5 seconds, he got off his shot. One bullet, think of it, one bullet, and that was the end. Otherwise, you would have had many people dead. He did a hell of a job. And that was from a very far distance. That was from basically about triple the distance. It was a much longer shot. So we want to thank him, and we want to thank all of the people in Secret Service for their bravery, because they were very brave. I mean, this was a bad thing. Very brave. But she refuses to even say the words illegal alien or radical Islamic terrorist. She says nope. And the main thing, think of this, she wants to let mass amnesty and citizenship. She wants all illegals to have mass amnesty. Everybody can. Even criminals, because many of them that are coming in are from prisons and jails and mental institutions, insane asylums. They hate when I use Dr. Hannibal Lecter as the late, great Hannibal Lecter. Oh, they go, look at all the media back there. Look at all the fake news. That's a lot of fake news. That's a lot of fake news, Bert. But she doesn't want to get involved. Look, here's a story. When a politician says something young in life, that's where they are. That's what they believe in. Defund the police, all the things that she said, that's where she would go if she ever got the chance. She's never going to get the chance. Our country will be destroyed. She's worse than Biden. She's worse than Bernie Sanders. She's Bernie Sanders, but not as smart. That's the way I view her. I said she's a dumb version of Bernie Sanders, and actually further left than him. She supports mandatory gun confiscation. I'm sure you wouldn't mind that. Would anybody mind if they came into your house and took away your gun or your guns? I'm shocked. I'm shocked to hear that. She's for taking away all of your guns. The problem is they won't take them away from the bad guy. The bad guy's not giving up the guns. The good guys are going to, oh, well, yes, ma'am, here's my gun, thank you. Now you're totally defenseless in your house. No, you can't do that. She said that a 70 to 80% tax hike is, quote, a bold idea that should be discussed. Oh, that's nice. She co-sponsored the $100 trillion Green New Scam. She wants to abolish all oil and coal and natural gas. We want to work on wind. We want to have wind blowing. She vowed to ban fracking. She wants the government to stop people from eating red meat. She wants to get rid of your cows. No more cows. No more cows. Oh, it's serious. You know, in Europe, you smile and you think about it. But in Europe, they're sort of doing it. They don't want any cattle. She wants to get rid of gas-powered cars and replace them with all electric. They don't go far. They cost too much. They're all made in China. Other than that, they're fantastic. And I'm for electric cars. I have to be, because Elon endorsed me very strongly, Elon. So I have no choice. But he knows. No, I am for him. I'm for him for a small slice is a slice. But you want to have gas-propelled cars. You want to have hybrids. You want to have every kind of a car imaginable. They want to go all electric. And there's no way you can ever load them up. They call them loading them. You can't load them. We're going to have to spend $9 trillion in the Middle West. You saw they built chargers. Now, a charger is a gas pump with electricity come through. Is that good? So it's like for 8 chargers, they spent $9 billion. Is that a good deal? So at that rate, it would be $10 trillion to charge up the country. The whole thing is crazy, right, Mr. Preacher? She wants to get rid of two very special words to me, and I came up with this because I noticed when you went into stores, I used to go into stores, now I wouldn't want to go into stores because they have everything under lock and key. You ever see they have bars up, they have glass up? I don't know how you can do business like that. I'd like to buy a toothpaste, please. Oh, wait till the clerk comes, 25 minutes. They open this heavy glass armored door. How the hell do you make money doing that? It used to be that if somebody robbed your store, you would be very tough about it, right? Now, Kamala started this. Anything under $1,000, you can do whatever you want. In other words, and these guys are sitting out there. You ever see them? They've got paper. Okay, you go ahead. Oop, that's over that. Drop that back. Put that. There's no crime if it's less than $1,000. She's the one who started it. She is a lunatic. She wants to get rid of these two very special words. You remember I used to bring it up all the time in 2016. By the way, we did much better in 2020 than we did in 2016, but these are minor details. We did much better. They said, what was the difference? I said, well, we got millions of more votes. As you know that too. But we're not going to let that happen again. Ready? The two words are Merry Christmas. She doesn't want anybody saying Merry Christmas. Now she's denying it, and then they found the tape last night. She's such a liar. She denies all this stuff. She said, I was not the border czar. She was the New York Times has a headline, border czar. She was the border czar. She was the worst border czar. She was the worst czar in history. Kamala's radical ideas belong in a San Francisco commune filled with far-left freaks, but they do not belong in the White House. They do not belong in the United States of America. This November, Georgia is going to tell Kamala that we will not let her turn America into a communist country. Remember I used to say, we will never be a socialist country. Well, I was right. They skipped socialism. I was right. It will never be a socialist country. I'd say that. State of the Union, I said, we will not ever allow our country to be a socialist country. I was right. It's gone communist. It skipped socialism. It never stopped. The train never stopped at the socialism world. The world of socialism, not a good one, but the world of communism is many times worse. Now that they've swapped out Biden, is he going to the Democrat convention? This is a big question. I'd like to go to watch Kamala get sworn in as they ripped it away from him. They took away his presidency. What do you think, Mr. Congressman? You had a very good speech. Didn't he make a good speech? What do you think about ripping away their socialism there? What do you think about ripping away the guy's presidency, right? No, it's not democracy. Remember the words they use? They are a threat to democracy. They've been saying that about me for 7 years. I think I got shot because of that, okay? People said, he's a threat to democracy. No, I'm the one that is saving democracy. It's true. They're a threat. Thank you. Wow. That's nice. Thank you, Marjorie. No, we're saving democracy. Wow. I'm going to use that more often. I've never used that before. I'm always hitting them. I should say instead, I'm going to save democracy and get a nice big applause. It is true, though, certain phrases get amazing response, like, I will keep men out of women's sports. Now you find out I'm right. I used to use the barbells. I thought, now all you have to do is look at the boxers. This young girl from Italy, a champion boxer, she got hit so hard she didn't know what the hell hit her. It's a person that transitioned. He was a good male boxer. Yeah. He was a good male boxer. And she didn't even go down. He hit her with 2 jabs and she said, I'm out. How crazy is it? The weightlifters are great, though, because they put a quarter of an ounce here, a quarter of an ounce here. And she goes, by the way, First Lady of the United States hates when I do this. She says it's so damn unpresidential. I said, but the people like it. Right, Marjorie? She doesn't like it. She's a very elegant woman. She doesn't like it. Should I do it, Marjorie? So, no, our First Lady, she said, you know, your speech was great, but this weightlifting thing is so unelegant. And please don't imitate him not being able to find stairs, because every time you do it, they say it was you that couldn't find the stairs. So I'm very careful, because the press is among the most dishonest human beings in history. They know. Bruce knows. The great Bruce Lavelle. Stand up, Bruce. He's been with me from before I ran. He was with me in 2014, saying that guy in New York should run. He'll be great president. That was long before I even ran. I didn't even know about it. I think you might have convinced me to run. I don't know. Some of these people, you know, some people have been with me long before I ran. They would say Trump should run. That we had Romney. Remember Romney? And they did polls. Romney and Paul Ryan, what a combination that was. Whoops, there we go off Fox. Fox just won. No, Paul Ryan's on the board of Fox. What a mistake that was. But they had Romney and Paul Ryan. What a team that was. They got clobbered. They got clobbered. The choice of this election could not be more stark. On the one hand, you have a radical left freak. You have a candidate who is fake, fake, fake. On the other hand, you have a president who will fight, fight, fight for America. Fight, fight, fight. I will, I promise. I will. By the way, the fire marshal, I love him. Could the school people allow, there's some seats right up there. They could let him come in. I don't know what you're doing. I don't know what you're doing. Let the people come in. They're standing outside, thousands of them. Let them come in. It's obviously, Marjorie, a very liberal school, I guess, right? I'm not happy with the school. Let them come in. They're standing. It's 95 degrees out. Let them come in. There's some seats. But they got thousands of people. They won't let them in. A Harris presidency. You know why? Because they don't want to show that we're successful. That's all it is. They don't want to show. She has to go get entertainers. They start leaving as soon as she opens her mouth. Well, Hillary used to do that, too. I remember she got Bruce Springsteen. I'm not I'm not a huge fan. I have a bad trait. I only like people that like me. Yeah? Does that make sense? And these people like me, Bert, right? These people like me. No, Hillary used to do it all the time. She got the idea from Hillary. Hillary got Bruce Springsteen, I'll never forget. And the place was pretty full. Not full like our places are full. And I don't have a guitar. I don't have a guitar, but our places are bigger. We get more people than anybody. I don't care how many guitars they have. You know, in New Jersey, we had 107,000 people come. Nobody has that. Nobody. In Alabama, we had 68,000 people. In South Carolina, we had 82,000 people. That had closed up the whole state. We even did one in the South Bronx in New York. Rough place, but boy, it was love. 25,000 people. It was love. It was love. But I'll never forget that Hillary, and they were all saying, oh, she drew, 25,000 people or something. Then he finished with the concert. She starts speaking, and everyone's leaving. I said, that's not working out so good. That's not working out, right? But I don't know. You have to be real. You have to, if people show up, people show up. But to do that, I don't know. There's something pretty phony about it. But she had somebody. Who did she have? Who was the entertainer that she had, you know? Yeah. That's what I think. By the way, the entertainer couldn't fill the place either. Even with the help of the school. The school's trying to get students, please go. This is embarrassing to us. Please go. No. Wasn't Hillary a beauty when I campaigned against her? She said, look at him. Look at him. Just look at those words he uses. He will start wars. No. I had no wars. I got rid of ISIS, 100% of ISIS, but that was already started. I was the one that had no wars, first time in 80 years. In California, Harris was the original Marxist prosecutor. She was in the role of Fannie Willis. Has anybody ever heard of Fannie Willis? You know, Fannie Willis is a good friend of your governor. You know that? Your governor. I'm not a fan of your governor, but she was in the role of Fannie Willis or Larry Krasner, George Gascon, Alvin Bragg of New York. Oh, he goes after me. He goes after me because of the Justice Department. Never happened before. The DA of San Francisco, Harris, shielded illegal alien crack dealers from deportation. She wouldn't let them be deported. She fought like hell. She wouldn't arrest criminals of the worst kind. She wouldn't arrest murderers. She wouldn't arrest anybody. The state has gone to hell. Gavin Newsom is the worst, one of the worst guys. Gavin Newsom. But she was the one that started it. She ruined San Francisco, ruined California. As California Attorney General, she defined and redefined child sex trafficking, assault with a deadly weapon, and rape of an unconscious person raped as nonviolent. These were nonviolent crimes. We shouldn't even prosecute these people. To help spring child predators and dangerous criminals out of prison all over the state. And during the left-wing riots of 2020, you saw that, she urged her followers to donate to bail rapists and murderers out of jail while saying that the violent mobs should not stop. They should not stop. She said she was endorsing to fund the police. And she said, violent mobs, let the violent mobs keep going. Let them keep going. We love what they're doing. We love what they represent. This is the lunatic that the fake news is trying to build up to be the next Margaret Thatcher. You know, 4 months ago, she was considered grossly incompetent by the fake news. Now they're saying, oh, isn't she wonderful? Isn't she wonderful? No, she's not wonderful. So we have to work hard to define her. I don't want to even define her. I just want to say who she is. She's a horror show. She'll destroy our country. For years, she has pushed legislation to strip police officers of any protection. They have no protection. Anything they do, they get sued, they go bankrupt, they lose their house, they lose their family, they lose their pension. They ruin their lives. They want to ruin their lives. She was the worst at ruining police officers. And by the way, I have the endorsement of virtually every police organization in the United States. Almost every. And when I'm president of the United States, again, we will never defund the police. We will only overfund. We're going to overfund the police if we have to. I will always give our law enforcement heroes the protection, resources, and respect that they so dearly deserve, and like other Marxist DAs. And she was the first of them. She was horrible. She was horrible. She had a very good friend named Willie Brown. I liked Willie Brown. He knows more about her than anybody's ever known. He could tell you every single thing about her. Could tell you stories that you're not going to want to hear. Like other Marxist DAs, Kamala supports abolishing cash bail, which means bloodthirsty criminals that just killed somebody can immediately leave custody, go out and kill somebody else, which, by the way, they often do. Under these kinds of woke radical left policies, Atlanta is like a killing field, and your governor ought to get off his ass and do something about it. Just a few weeks ago, 2 13-year-old boys were murdered and an 11-year-old was shot while sitting outside their house in southwest Atlanta. In June, a 47-year-old man, a 69-year-old woman, and a 70-year-old woman were shot in the middle of the day, shot right through the head in the food court of Peachtree Center. What a nice name. In downtown Atlanta, where you can't even walk anymore. The shooter had been previously arrested 11 times, but they think it was 24 times. He'd gone to prison for assault and armed robbery many times. Since I was president, aggravated assaults in Atlanta are up 17%, and there's a 20% increase in shoplifting and a 90% increase in overall crime. Murders are up massively. Murders, you go to the store, I want to buy a loaf of bread, darling. You come back, ma'am, I'm sorry, but your husband's been killed. He went for bread across the street. He's been shot to death, ma'am. Nationwide, there's been a 43% increase in violent crimes since I left office, including a 58% increase in rape, 89% increase in aggravated assault, and a 56% increase in stone-cold robbery. July 4th weekend in Chicago, 117 people were shot. 100, I'm not talking about I'm talking about shot. Not aimed at and missed, but I can guarantee you that number was big. But 117 people were shot. Of the 117, 17 died. Many are going to be incapacitated. They're going to be working for the rest of their lives just to move. Many are paralyzed. Many of those people are paralyzed right now. Nobody ever talks about that. So 117 people shot, 17 died, many very seriously hurt for the rest of their lives. If Kamala wins, it will be crime, chaos, and death all across our country. We're going to have just the opposite. You know, it's up to the governors and the mayors to run things, but with Minnesota, which was a disaster, Minneapolis, the crimes. You remember the CNN reporter? This is a friendly riot. Oh, please, I'd rather not use the word riot. This is a friendly get-together. And behind him, the whole city is burning down. Remember that? Remember, it was like the flames were going like for miles. And then he got hit on the knee with something. I think it was a hand grenade that didn't go off. Remember him with the shaved head? Ding, 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 shaved his head. How do I look? Great. Then he goes down, a hand grenade hits him. How do I look, darling? Oh, you look great. They call it the summer of love, remember? They took over Seattle, 20%. If I didn't have the soldiers ready to go that morning, that Seattle would still be occupied. They actually took over a large percentage of Seattle. Portland, what they did with Portland. You know, I was in the real estate business. I love storefronts, beautiful bronze. I love bronze and beautiful everything. Storefronts, so beautiful. In Portland, you know they have a storefront? Their storefronts have been so decimated, they use old 2x4s with a wooden door. No glass, no windows. It's the worst looking avenue I've ever seen because, and I spoke to people that have shops there, but they don't have them anymore, they've all fled. But the few people that remain, they have wooden storefronts made out of old lumber, and they said, no, anything we put up, including this, will be knocked down the next time, and it happens on a weekly basis. And nobody does anything about it. If I didn't bring out, they knew the military was coming in the next day in Seattle. If they didn't know that, and they fled, they all said, oh, it's about time to get it. You know, when they were doing monuments in Washington, Marjorie knows this, I got an old bill, because I doubt we could ever get Congress to pass one like this. And they were trying to rip down monuments. And then it was Abraham Lincoln. They were going to rip down the monument to Abraham Lincoln. They were ripping down other monuments. They didn't care who it was. They just wanted to destroy a country. And I took this old bill from 1889. Today, you wouldn't have the guts to sign a thing like that, although they should. They should make it even tougher. And it said, if you desecrate or even touch a monument in any way, shape, or form, you go to jail for 10 years, and there's no shortened sentence. There's no shortened sentence. There's no, like, you get 9 years off for good behavior. No, it's 10 years, and you're not allowed to even do that. No judge is allowed to do it. In fact, it was so old when I had it, I'm saying, this is an old sucker. This thing is old. But I reinstituted it. It was so severe, frankly, that they didn't use it. And then I had a press conference, remember, and I announced anybody. And people were, doing lassos of those gorgeous horses and all the things up there. And yet you saw it the other day. They were doing it again in Washington, D.C. with spray paint into limestone and granite. The limestone, it's a very porous stone. I was very good at this. I was a builder, as you may have heard. And the limestone, that paint goes in there, sucks. In 100 years, you'll see that. There's nothing you can do. It just goes right in. It's very, very porous. It's sand, basically. Beautiful sand, beautiful lions, beautiful monuments, the bells and everything. Desecrated. And I wonder what happened to those people. Probably nothing, right? Probably nothing. What they did tremendous damage. They did tremendous damage. But so I announced this bill, and the bill, I had a press conference to announce it. And I said, 10 years for anybody even touching any of our beautiful monuments. You know what happened? It was a beautiful sight. I saw thousands of asses, only the back, walking out of town. Some were running. They didn't want to do anything. They just wanted to get the hell out of town. And that was the end of the problem. We didn't have any more problem. We had no more problem after that. There was no problem, and that was the end. You didn't hear about it after that, Mr. Congressman, did we? Collins, good speaker he is. He's got a future. Does he have a future, Marjorie? I don't know. Got the look. He's got the hair. Good job. I watched. Good job. We will restore law and order to America. We will bring back public safety to the great state of Georgia, which is doing very badly in that way. And on day one, we will seal the border, stop the invasion, and send the illegal aliens back home, and we'll do it very quickly. Right? For 3.5 years, Border Czar Harris, and again, she refuses to acknowledge that she was the border czar. She was the worst manager we've ever had, ever. And by the way, all of the people in charge of the border, they've all endorsed me. They said he was the greatest president we've ever had. Tom Homan, Brandon Judd, all of those guys, they've all endorsed me. And they said, she's the worst. I mean, it's hard for them to say that, but, they said there's never been anybody so incompetent. For 3.5 years, Border Czar Harris has allowed terrorists and criminals to pour across our wide-open border. And now she's denying it. You can't fall for it. Disinformation. Deny for a year. We'd never done. Nothing happened. We were great. We were so tough. And some people will start to believe it, They used the word brainwash. Did you ever hear the word brainwash? Mitt Romney's father used that word. It wasn't good when he used that word. It destroyed his career. But they were brainwashed. Some people they hear it over and over again. How bad they were, and they say how great a job they did. They did great, they did great. They say it again and again, and all of a sudden people... And don't forget, it's not their main thing. They're accountants, they're lawyers, they're taxi drivers, they're carpenters, they're electricians. They hear it over and over again. All of a sudden they say, she was really great on the border, wasn't she? No, she was a disaster. She has destroyed our country. We're going to bring it back, but she has destroyed our country. She's incompetent. They're coming from South America. They're coming from Asia. They're coming from Africa and the Middle East, from prisons and jails. They're coming from all over the world. They're not just coming from South America. Everyone thinks, South America, they want to vote in Spanish, and they're like, by the way, we are doing better with the Hispanic population, I think, now than they are. So that's not working out too well. But they're coming from all over the world, not just South America. They're coming from the Congo in Africa. A lot are coming from the Congo, from prisons. Where do you come from? The Congo. Oh, what's your address? We live in prison. What did you do? Murder. Oh, welcome to the United States of America. It's lovely to have you. The only good thing is, I say this all the time, these people are so violent and vicious that are being brought into our country. They're so violent, so vicious, that they make our gang members and bad people and criminals look like the nicest people on earth. So when we see an MS-13 some person now, we say, well, they're not that bad. These are the worst people anywhere in the world coming into our country. They're coming in at levels that nobody's ever seen before. There's nothing good about it. There's nothing can be made of it. And they're actually trying to get them to sign up and vote. They don't even speak the language. They don't even know where the hell they are. They want them to sign up and vote. And we have the head of our great Republican Party here, and he is not letting it happen wherever you may be. Right? Wherever you may be. Doing a great job. You know that, right? They're coming in, and they're trying to sign them up. Because I used to say, like, only two reasons this could be happening. They hate our country, or they're stupid. Well, they're not stupid, because anybody that can cheat on elections that good is not stupid. And they do, I really believe they do to a certain extent hate our country, because, you know, why? But I never really talked about the third reason, because it's so sinister. But they want to sign these people up to vote. And if they do that, this country is destroyed. We become a dumping ground for the entire world, and we're not going to take it anymore. Just a few months ago, right here in your state, I met with the devastated family, what a beautiful family, of Laken Riley, the brilliant 22-year-old nursing student, topper of her class, who was out for a jog on the campus of the University of Georgia when she was assaulted, beaten, and horrifically killed. Her family was, I mean, look, they'll never be the same, incredible family. Kamala Harris let in the savage monster who murdered Laken Riley. He was an illegal alien who was in Border Patrol custody, but under Harris's policies, instead of being deported immediately and fast, he was set free into America. Please enjoy your stay. Laken's blood is on Kamala Harris's hands, and she was in charge of the border. But there are many, many people like that. Laken is not the only one. Kamala is responsible for the death, as though she was standing there watching it herself. She was responsible, and for so many more. 3 days after releasing Laken's killer into the United States, Harris went on television and lied to the American people, saying the border is secure. Quote, the border is secure. What kind of a politician lies to Americans about keeping the border open while precious young girls are being assaulted and killed? And Laken is one where the press was, I mean, very strong on it, but there are thousands of people that are being killed and being criminalized and victimized by these people that are pouring into our country. I call it migrant crime. We now have migrant crime in our country. It's a new form of crime. It's called migrant crime, and it's vicious, and it's really bad. Kamala Harris should not be asking for your vote. She should be begging Laken Riley's family for forgiveness, and Joe Biden never would mention her name. You remember when Biden wouldn't mention her name, then all of a sudden, because Laken was really, I mean, that was a big deal. That was a very horrible, just horrific. And he wouldn't mention her name, and then he finally did it, and he called her the wrong name. Lincoln, right? Called her Lincoln. Good coach, Lincoln Riley. Good coach. Maybe that's where it came from, but called her Lincoln. And he was so bad, such a bad precedent. Such a bad president, and precedent was set by having him as a president. He was a disaster for this country. You get angry talking about it, because it's almost impossible to believe you can be that bad. You know, people like certain people, and I understand it. They could have different beliefs, different policies. Like Ronald Reagan, he had something special about him. There was an aura, right? I didn't agree with him on trade. I didn't think he was as good on trade as he could have been tougher on trade. But he had something special. They all, you know, but this last group, there's nothing they have nothing. I call him Crooked Joe for a reason. He's crooked. I also call him Sleepy Joe. He's sleepy. He's sleepy. He's crooked. He's incompetent. He's dumb. And she's worse. She's worse. If Harris wins, a never-ending stream of illegal alien rapists, MS-13 animals, and child predators will flood into your communities. If I win on day one, we will begin the largest deportation operation in American history. Have no choice. We have no choice. No country can sustain this. We have no choice, and we will immediately expel every single criminal that Border Czar Harris has allowed into our country. No country can sustain it. In a recent CBS poll, 62% of Americans support large-scale deportation, and others are saying it's 83%, 85%, including 53% of Hispanic voters because they see what's happening. By the way, the Hispanic voter and me have like this special relationship. I understand them. They're very entrepreneurial, very smart, but they also understand security better than anybody. And they don't want to have murderers released into our country. They don't want, it's very interesting. When I built, I built massive amounts of the wall. The wall was incredible. We built it, and hundreds of miles of wall, and they wanted it more than anybody because it worked. Remember I used to say, two things work. Everything else is obsolete after two. You do a new computer, in about 3 weeks it's totally obsolete. Nobody wants it. Two things have never been obsolete: wheels and walls. Wheels work and walls work. And you have a lot of different things becoming obsolete, but the wheel and the walls work. Harris wants to be the president for criminals and illegal aliens. I will be the president for law-abiding Americans of every race, religion, color, and creed. And it's no wonder the Democrat Party and their thugs are so desperate to stop us. They know that we are the only ones who can stop them. We're the only ones who are going to be able to stop them. Nobody else is going to be able to stop these lunatics. All of their persecution of me is only happening because I am running for president and leading very big in all of the polls. If I wasn't running for president, I could be vacationing next to one of the many beautiful oceans of the world as the waves come in. Beautiful, but it's boring. I'd rather be with you, figuring out this mess that we've gotten ourselves into. We're going to figure it out. We've got it figured out. Thank you. Thank you. Thank you very much. Now we have two things we have to do. We have to vote, and we have to make sure that we stop them from cheating, because they cheat like dogs. I don't know if you've heard, but the Georgia State Election Board is in a very positive way. This is a very positive thing, Marjorie. They're on fire. They're doing a great job. 3 members: Janice Johnson, Rick Jeffries, and Janelle King. 3 people are all pit bulls fighting for honesty, transparency, and victory. They're fighting. Are they here? Where are they? Where are they? Where are they? Thank you. What a job. Thank you. Thank you. Wow. But we have a couple of other members that aren't so good. We have some that aren't so good, but these 3 are really doing the job because they don't want to see this happen. That will destroy our country. They just passed a rule for Georgia elections requiring that 3 people at each precinct independently count the total number of ballots before certification. Who could be against that? Who could be against it? Thank you, Janice, very much. That's really amazing. Thank you all. Thank you all. Those are great people. I'd say brave, but I mean, to you, it's like that you got to do what you have to do, right? It's not like a question of brave. They said I was brave 2 weeks ago. I had to do what I had to do. It's not like brave, right? It's just we do the right thing. Go. Thank you. My courage was contagious. Well, your courage is contagious, too. Thank you. Thank you. Nice. It's amazing. People want it. That's what they want. Thank you, Janice. That's great. And those three people are incredible. Let me give you the bad news. It's that for whatever reason, Brad Raffensperger and Brian Kemp, your governor, who I got elected, by the way. If it wasn't for me, he would not be your governor. I think everybody knows that. He's a very disloyal person, isn't he? Very disloyal. But these two are doing everything possible. Plus, your attorney general would like to see him show up and do something. But, I mean, look at the love and adulation and applause. Because this is like a poll. This is like a poll. We have thousands of people. That's better than going out and paying $500,000 to have some pollster go out and poll 212 people. Look at this. Look at the love they have for Janice. That's what people want. They want to have honest elections and they want to have strong borders. You know? Very simple. But your governor, Kemp, and Raffensperger are doing everything possible to make 2024 difficult for Republicans to win. What are they doing? I don't know. They got something in mind, you know. They got a little something in mind. Kemp is very bad for the Republican Party. He wouldn't do anything. You know, we have Burt Jones over here. We have Burt Jones. All he wanted in the Senate was to have a special resolution passed, and it was all done. Every senator wanted it. Every Republican wanted it. And we have Senator Beach here someplace, too. Where is Senator Beach? Oh, I can't forget him. We can't forget him. A warrior, you know that, and many others in this group. But all they wanted was to have just special. We want to go over the election. We want to look because there's too many things. And the governor wouldn't sign it. And I knew he would because I got him elected. I sent a young guy over to his office. Would you please have him sign this? And the kid came back. He said, sir, he won't sign. Of course he will. I got him elected. Give me a break. Of course he will. No, he wouldn't. And then I said, well, go back over. Tell him it's for me. It's a good thing, not a bad thing. They want to look into possible election fraud. Wouldn't you say, Senator, that's a good thing, right? They want to look into election fraud. It comes back, sir, I said it was for you. This was a few years later, after I won him the election. Don't forget, I endorsed him, and you had a very good man, Casey Cagle, your lieutenant governor. He was going to win easily. And David Perdue, where's David? I love David, but that was his only mistake. He said, sir, would you endorse a friend of mine, Brian Kemp? I said, who's Brian Kemp? He said, he's a friend of mine, sir. And Sonny came too. This was probably the only mistake of David's life. That was a beauty, David. Thanks, David. I appreciate it. And I endorsed this guy. He was like way down on the list. He was doing terribly. And he immediately, you know, my endorsement means a lot, and I'm very careful with it. And I endorsed him, and he won in a landslide. And then he said, I can't beat Stacey Abrams. I can't beat her. She's going to be too tough. And she felt that, too, by the way. She still feels it. You know, she's constantly saying she won the election. She can say it, but I'm not allowed to say it. I'm not allowed to say it. And Michaela, I love you, Michaela. I'm in love with Michaela. Please explain that to Melania. Please explain that to our First Lady. You're fantastic. No, you are a special person. But I endorsed him, and then she said, I can't beat Stacey Abrams. He said that, and his wife said it too. I said, well, you won the nomination, so let's do some big rallies. And I did them out at an airport, massive rallies, 55,000 and 52,000. There may have even been a third, I don't know. I remember 2 monster rallies. And I said, you're going to win. He said, I don't think so, sir. I said, no, you're going to win. I'm telling you, I can tell the vibe of the people. I'm like, I think, David, 287-0 in the last 12 months with endorsements. People respect my endorsement, and I respect them, and I love them. I love them. But so I did these two big rallies, and he won. He did win. He won by like 2%. And his wife looked at me and said, "Thank you, sir. We'll never, ever be able to repay you for what you did. You got my husband the nomination, and then we beat somebody who was unbeatable." You know, she was, in theory, unbeatable. She was the hottest politician in the country at the time. Democrat politician, I would say I was hotter because I was president. So I was hotter now. I'm only kidding, Marjorie. I'm only kidding. Although maybe I'm not kidding, actually. No, she was like the hottest, certainly the hottest Democrat politician in the country. And she was going wild for years. She's still going wild. She can't even believe it. But I got him by doing massive rallies. And I really worked hard. He's the most disloyal guy I think I've ever seen. But think of the wife. "We can never repay you for what you've done, sir. We could have never won." And now she said 2 weeks ago that I will not endorse him because he hasn't earned my endorsement. I haven't earned her endorsement. I have nothing to do with her. Somewhere he went bad. And you know what? Your numbers in Georgia are very average. Your crime numbers, your economic numbers, all of your numbers, you're very average. You can do a lot better, and you'll do a lot better with a better governor. You can do a lot better, just so you understand. But I don't want her endorsement. I don't want his endorsement. I just want them to do their job for Georgia. And you know what? He's the governor. He ought to support his Republican Party, because if he doesn't have his Republican Party, I could tell you where he came from, and it wasn't good. And you have a great leader of the Republican Party right here. Stand up, please. He has done an unbelievable job. And he has to work like hell with a governor that doesn't help him. And Raffensperger ought to make sure that the vote is honest. And they don't want the vote to be honest. In my opinion, they want us to lose. That's actually my opinion. And we can't let that happen. Because if we lose Georgia, we lose the whole thing, and our country goes to hell. Because we can't have her be president of the United States. She's grossly incompetent. And we can't let that happen. They're the ones, don't forget, who got Fonnie Willis and her lover boy boyfriend all jazzed up. This guy, the governor, you know what? She's an embarrassment to the state of Georgia. He's the governor of Georgia. He ought to do something. Many, many people, their lives have been, forget about me, many people, I'm used to it. It's true. I'm used to fake crap that goes on with these politicians. But many, many people, their lives have been destroyed because of Fonnie, F-A-N-I, Fonnie. You have to pronounce it Fonnie. It's called Fanny. You have to pronounce Fonnie. I don't know how she gets. She should add a little U in there someplace if she wants people to call her. No, her and her lover, right? Lover boy Wade. She hired him because of experience. Paid him almost $1 million a year for experience. He's got great experience. He never did a thing like this in his life. He knew nothing about it. The only thing he knew about was something else. He knew about that. That's all he knew about. He didn't know a damn thing. Do you know him? Have you ever met him? Yeah, a couple of times. You ever see the phone records, phone calls being made at 3 o'clock in the morning, like every single night, phone call from her house? And he said, no, not well. I don't know her well. No. And this governor, I assume, I don't know, he could straighten it out because his state has become a laughingstock over it. And you know what? I love this state. I won this state twice, in my opinion. Once I won, and I did much better the second time. And Bert knows it, and Beach knows it, and everybody else knows it. He could have ended the travesty with a phone call because I did nothing wrong, and neither did all of those good people that are being persecuted. People in their 80s, they signed something, because they see what's going on. I guarantee if I took a vote of this audience, if I said, what do you think? I won't do that. They'll come and indict you if you say that, right? Now, they can say it. Stacey Abrams can say that she won the election is fine. But if we say we won the election, and we did, that's not fine. We can't do it. Hillary Clinton is still complaining about the election, even though she called me up that night and conceded. But Hillary Clinton is constantly complaining about it. Nothing happens to her. We have two sides of justice, and we can't do it anymore. We have to get back to making America great again. We don't have time for this nonsense. I mean, Fani wanted to indict a certain U.S. senator who had nothing at all. He's saying, why are they calling me? I won't use his name because I don't want to hurt him. But she wanted to indict, and somebody along the way stopped her from doing it. She had many, many more people. She was going to indict almost everybody that came into the state for a visit. But Kemp doesn't want to end it because he's a bad guy, he's a disloyal guy, and he's a very average governor. Little Brian Kemp. Bad guy. But think of it. I got this guy, just think, and then that's it. I got this guy nominated, I then got him elected. Without me, he doesn't get nominated and he doesn't get elected. He had no chance of winning either one, and all he had to do is sign something where the Senate would like to look at election integrity. This is an honest man. That's an honest man. They were all honest. They were looking at something very legitimate. And this bad guy said, I'm sorry, sir. I can't do it. I called him. And I said, Brian, they're looking at election integrity. Is there anything you can do? I'm sorry, sir. I can't get involved in that. I said, but Brian, you don't understand. This is a good thing, not a bad thing. I'm sorry, sir. I can't get involved. I've had you up to here, Brian. I've had you up to here. He's a bad guy, and he's not doing this country a good service. People are looking at Georgia with Fani and her lover and all of the other things, saying, what the hell is going on in Georgia? What the hell is going on? The radical left Democrats rigged the presidential election in 2020, and we're not going to let them rig the presidential election in 2024. Every time the radical left Democrats, Marxists, communist fascists indict me, I consider it a great badge of honor. I do. Because I'm being indicted for you. You know, my father and mother are looking down. They were great people. They're saying, my son got indicted like 4 times. Al Capone didn't get indicted 4 times. He would kill you if he didn't like your look. If you looked at him in the slightly, that's a nice shirt. Scarface, Al Capone, the most evil man. He didn't get indicted like Trump. I got indicted for what? I'm protesting an election that was rigged. This guy didn't get indicted. My father would say, but Alphonse Capone didn't get indicted. He killed hundreds of people. If he took you out for dinner, even you, see you two guys, would you stand up with a MAGA black, please? Stand up, please. Look at these two guys. Who the hell is going to mess? Who's going to mess with that? MAGA black. MAGA black. I love them. I like them better than you, Bruce. Now, those are 2 tough cookies. But if Alphonse Capone didn't like you because you insulted him slightly at dinner, that was the end of you fellas, I have to tell you. And he didn't get like me. Think of it. How crazy is the world? And thank you for being here. You're good-looking guys. Better looking than Bruce, I'll tell you right now. Much. Stand up, Bruce. Never forget, thank you. But never forget, our enemies want to take away my freedom because I will never let them take away your freedom. They want to silence me because I will never let them silence you. And in the end, they're not after me. They're after you. I just happen to be standing in their way. So I want to introduce a few warriors, if I could, please. And they're incredible people. They really are. And, you know, every night I do this where I get in trouble because I'm always leaving somebody out. I'm leaving a congressman out. I'm leaving a guy. It's brutal. So I end up going on the internet and thanking him, and I love him and all the stuff, or her. But, you know, it's always tricky. But I know these are people that are here, and I want to just thank them for joining us. Your great Lieutenant Governor, who's really great, Burt Jones. And his father is here. You know, his father's a legend he's a legend, literally, in Georgia as an incredible politician. And then he left. He didn't lose. He left, and he went into business, and he's been tremendously successful. He really is a legend. His name is Bill Jones. Does anybody know Bill Jones? Bill? Where is Bill? Good. I saw him backstage. He's fantastic. Representative Mike Collins. Thank you, Mike. Thank you very much. Thank you, Mike. Thank you. Where is the preacher that was back there talking to me? Where is he? Huh? Because he went with your father. Oh, your father's smart. I always said that. Stays with those preachers. Rick Allen and Marjorie Taylor Greene. Thank you, Rick. Thanks, Rick. Great job, Rick. Thank you, Marjorie. You know, I've known Marjorie from the beginning, and she's an amazing political person. I don't like to say politician. She's beyond that. She's really loved and respected by so many people. And in Washington, when she calls, they get very nervous. Oh, please. She's fantastic. So I thank you both for being here. Appreciate it. And a future congressman, he'll be one of your best. He's been with me for 8 years. And, you know, he always wanted to be a congressman. Then his district opened up, and he said, do you think I could do it? I said, you have my complete and total endorsement. Brian Jack. Brian Jack. Great guy. He's going to be a great congressman. And it's what he wanted to be. And he's fantastic. You guys are going to love Brian, right, Marjorie? You're gonna... Also, we alluded to him and talked about him, but I'm going to talk about him very positively. He was really a great senator. He was a great man in so many different ways. He was respected more than anybody. I mean, everybody respected him in Washington. Very successful businessman that he ran for office, a little bit like the Trump schedule of events. But he was really a fantastic person in Washington, somebody that I was very close to, David Perdue. David, thank you. Doug Collins, will you stand up? Come on. How good was this guy? That's fantastic. See, I'm glad I spotted him. I would have been in big trouble if I didn't mention him. I'm glad. You know, they give me a few names. Who the hell writes these lists out? These people, somebody's getting me in big trouble. It wasn't that way when I had Brian Jack doing this, I'll tell you. I got lucky. And I see somebody that I know very well, one of the truly great members of the Martin Luther King family, one of the greats. Will you please stand up? I didn't see you. My friend from the beginning, I would have been in such trouble. If I didn't mention you, I would have been in big trouble. Thank you, darling. One of the truly great people. And been with us from the very beginning, I would say, right? Very beginning. Thank you, darling. Boy, am I glad I'm looking over this audience. I don't like this. I'm telling you, this would not have happened if Brian Jack were doing it, which he did for many years. Agriculture Commissioner has done a fantastic job. Tyler Harper. Tyler, thank you very much. Fantastic. Thank you. And John King, Insurance and Safety Fire Commissioner. John, thank you. Great job, John. Labor Commissioner Bruce Thompson. Bruce? Thank you, Bruce. Public Service Commissioners, Bubba. I love Bubba McDonald. I love that name. I want to change my name. And Fitz Johnson. Thank you both. Thank you both. And Alveda. Good. They did have your name down, Alveda. I would have been in trouble if I didn't pick, but I picked it even with. And Richard Wood, Superintendent of Schools, who I hear does a great job. Richard, thank you. Thank you, Richard. Pastor Benny Tate of the Rock Springs Church. Benny, thank you. Bernie Carrick. Does anybody know Bernie Carrick? Where's Bernie? Stand up, Bernie. He's the cleanest man in this room. You know that. Bernie's a great guy. He was a great commissioner in New York. He's a fantastic man. A well-known local artist with a beautiful painting, Art Lanta. Where is Art? Oh, wow. That is beautiful. I wasn't going to bring him up. Then I saw the painting. I said, come on up, because maybe he'll give it to me. Wow. Come on up. That's okay. Thank you very much. Wow, that's fantastic. Wow. Whoa. Good. That's a real artist. I brought him up because I thought he was going to give it to me. He didn't give it to me. He just got me to sign it. I got nothing out of that. Hey, Michaela, I know you spoke. Just come up for a second. Come here. This young woman, I walked into, I don't know what the hell restaurant it was, but I walked into this restaurant. And we do it very quietly. We don't announce it. That's for, security reasons, everything. I walked in. She's behind the counter, and she didn't know I was coming. And she goes, it's President Trump. She looks at me. It's President Trump. You saved my college. And I said, how the hell do you know that? She said, you are, this one is so smart, so sharp. She grabbed me. She gave me a kiss. I said, I think I'm never going back home to the First Lady.
You were supposed to keep that quiet.
See, now, for the average politician, that's death. For me, I don't care. I just want to tell you, you are an unbelievable person with a great personality. You lit up the whole room. You lit up the whole room. I said, weeks later, I'd go, who is that person that was so incredible? She knew everything about me. She had no idea I was coming. She knew everything about me. And, the historically black colleges and universities, I gave millions and millions, billions of dollars to. They kept coming back, and I said, why are you doing this? And we gave them long-term funding. And she knew that because she said her college, she loved her college. She said it was so great, right? You loved it.
The illustrious CAU.
Yeah, that's right. She loved her college, and she said, you saved my college. What was your college? Tell them.
The illustrious Clark Atlanta University.
And it was so impressive, and I felt so good, because she really did. She really said, I said, did you like the college? She said, no, I loved that school. I loved that college, and that's what it's all about. But you are an incredible person. I think you have a tremendous future. I really do. And I'll do whatever I can to help you, okay? Thank you, Dan. Thank you very much. Great job. You want to say something else?
Man, I thought I was done. But I do want to add on to some of the remarks that were made by others, and we do need to do our best to get the message out there. The fight is nothing if all we do is talk about it amongst ourselves. So with that being said, since you said you'd help me, shameless plug, if y'all need anybody to knock doors, make phone calls, wave signs, get get people out to the polls, call me at Conserve the Culture. Because not only do I mobilize the HBCU students so that they may get this message, but I'm the best person when it comes to black engagement in the black community. And nobody needs this message more than my folks. So do y'all care for real? Are y'all with us for real? ConserveTheCulture.com for any and all inquiries. Y'all can follow me at Miss Kayla, baby. I'm going to give it back to Big T. Last thing, make sure you guys tune in to my podcast dropping soon on the Patriots Prayer Network. Thank you all.
She's great. Thank you. That's a great person, great woman. Thank you very much. Thank you very much. From the moment we take back the White House from Kamala and Crooked Joe, and he's crooked as a $4 bill, I believe we're going to have the 4 greatest years in the history of our country. Starting on day one, we will end inflation and make America affordable again. We're going to make it affordable again. Thanks to Kamala Harris's tie-breaking vote here in Atlanta, you suffered the highest inflation of any city in the country last year. Good job, Governor. Great job, Governor. Under Kamala, the typical Georgia family has lost $28,000 in inflation and to inflation hikes. To bring down the prices of all goods, we will stop the Biden-Harris war on American energy. American energy is such a big deal. We will drill, baby, drill. We'll get that number down. We'll bring energy prices down. Everything else will float with it. We will terminate the Green New Scam, and I will end the Biden-Harris electric vehicle mandate right on day one. It will be ended. We will pass massive tax cuts for workers, and that includes no tax on tips, Michaela. To further protect Georgia workers, I will revoke China's most favored nation's trade status. I will pass the Trump Reciprocal Trade Act. If China or any other country makes us pay a 100 or 200% tariff, we will make them pay a reciprocal tariff of 100 or 200% right back. You heard us. We heard you. It's an eye for an eye. We'll take in a fortune, and they'll stop doing it before I even arrive at the Oval Office shortly after we win the presidency. I will have the horrible war between Russia and Ukraine settled, and I will prevent, and I'm the only one that's going to do it, 100% will prevent World War III, which is very close to happening. I will restore peace through strength, and in my next term, we will build a great Iron Dome missile defense shield over our country. A dome like none other, like nobody has ever seen before, and it will all be made in the USA, and much of it will be made in the great state of Georgia. And I will not cut 1 cent from Social Security or Medicare. I kept that promise 4 years ago, and I will keep it again. And seniors will not pay taxes on Social Security. We are going to rebuild our cities into beacons of hope, safety, and beauty better than they have ever been before. We will take over the horribly run capital of our nation in Washington, D.C., and clean it up, renovate it, rebuild our capital city so there's no longer a nightmare of murder and crime. We're going to stop the murder and crime. You go down from your state, you end up getting mugged, murdered in our capital. It'll be run tough and strong by our great police officers, but rather, we will become the most beautiful capital anywhere in the world. I could say again, but it's been so badly run for so long, I almost don't want to say again. On day one, I will sign a new executive order to cut federal funding for any school pushing critical race theory, transgender insanity, and other inappropriate racial, sexual, or political content onto the shoulders of our children. And I will not give 1 penny to any school that has a vaccine mandate or a mask mandate. And I will keep men out of women's sports, if that's okay. If Kamala Harris gets in, the travesty that is taking place at the Paris Olympics will come to America when we host the Los Angeles Olympics. And by the way, which I was president, we happened to get it. I was the president. I also got you a thing called the World Cup, which is coming very soon. I might as well say it myself because nobody else will say it. But I got them both, and you're going to have a lot of fun with it, I hope. Harris is a radical trans activist, and she is the candidate of letting men beat up women in the name of tolerance. But you look at what's happening over in Paris. It will never happen here. I will never let it happen. I will get all males off your daughter's soccer teams and volleyball teams and get them out of your locker rooms once and for all. That's going to be cleaned up, and we will fight to make sure that the LA Olympics protects women and protects girls. I will fully uphold the Second Amendment, and we will protect innocent life, and we will restore free speech in our country. We don't have free speech any longer. And very importantly, I will and this is to me, so important, what we've been through in this country, I will secure our elections. Our goal will be one-day voting with paper ballots, proof of citizenship, and voter ID. But until then, Republicans must win. We want a landslide that's too big to rig. Too big to rig. If you want to save America, get your friends, get your family, get everyone you know and vote. Vote early, vote absentee, vote on election day. Do whatever you want, but you have to vote. And if you want to help us ensure election integrity, please sign up, protectthevote.com, protectthevote.com. So, in conclusion, from Marietta to Macon, from Savannah to Columbus, from Augusta to right here in Atlanta, we inherit the legacy of red-blooded American patriots who gave their blood, sweat, and tears to defend our country and defend our freedom. We stand on the shoulders of American heroes who crossed the ocean, settled the continent, tamed the wilderness, laid down the railroads, raised up those great, big, beautiful skyscrapers, won 2 world wars, defeated fascism and communism, and made America into the single greatest nation in the history of the world. But now we are a nation in decline. We are a failing nation. We are a nation that has lost its confidence, lost its willpower, and lost its strength. We are a nation that has lost its way. But we are not going to allow this horror to continue. Less than 4 years ago, we were a great nation, and we will soon be a great nation again. With our leadership, every disaster Kamala Harris and Joe Biden have created can be fixed, and it will be fixed very quickly. Every problem can be solved, and every wrong can be rectified. By this time next year, America's borders will be strong, sealed, and secure. Inflation will be in full retreat. Our economy will be roaring back. It's going to be roaring back. Optimism will be surging. The American dream will be thriving again for citizens of every race, religion, color, and creed. Law and justice will reign all throughout our land. Freedom will be restored. The flame of liberty will be burning bright. Joe Biden and Kamala Harris, the worst administration in the history of our country, will be a fading memory of the past. And our great silent majority, including the once forgotten men and women of our country, will be the one shaping America's magnificent future when I am the 47th President of the United States. Because we are all Americans, and together we will show November 5th to be the most important day in the history of our country. We are one movement, one people, one family, and one glorious nation under God, and together we will make America powerful again. We will make America wealthy again. We will make America strong again. We will make America proud again. We will make America safe again. We will make America free again. And we will make America great again. Thank you, Georgia. God bless you all. Go out and vote. God bless you all. Thank you. Thank you, everybody.
Shout out to everybody watching the live show. You know what time it is. You guys have been patient. We have come to the end of the live show. Shout out to everybody watching the live show. Smash the like button. Subscribe to the channel. Subscribe to the channel. Smash the like button. You know what time it is. God bless you. God bless you. God bless you. We have come to the end of the live show. You guys are the best. Also, vote for policies. Don't vote for feelings and emotions. And, I don't like the way he talks. I don't like the way he tweets. I don't like the way he talks about people he doesn't like. What are his performance record, though? Focus on the record, okay? Focus on the record. Don't vote for your feelings and based on emotions and based on your feelings. Your feelings, your emotions would not pay your bills, okay? How you feel wouldn't pay your bills. How your emotions take what your emotions dictates to you would not pay your bills, okay? So get wise, get up, go vote, go vote, go vote. Get your voter's card. Make sure you participate in the election, okay? Look at the gas prices, look at the groceries, look at the mortgage rates, look at the situation in Ukraine, look at the situation in Israel. Okay? So these are the things that you got to look at. Okay? Look at the inflation rate. So you might say you don't like this man, but I mean, do you don't you like peace? Don't you like low gas prices? Don't you like low inflation? Don't you like safe borders? Don't you like low interest rate, low mortgage rate? These are the things that you're voting for. Okay? So wake the up. Wake the F up and realize what you're voting for, okay? We're not here voting for never ending wars. That's not what we want, okay? We don't want to say, oh, do you want Putin to win? Who cares? We don't care about Putin winning or Zelensky winning. We care about people to stop dying, okay? We want people to stop dying. We don't care about, oh, so you want Putin to win, right? That's what. No. No, okay? We don't care about who wins. We just don't want nobody. Nobody needs to keep dying. Children, women, okay? That's all we care about, okay? We're not here picking sides when people's lives are at stake, okay? So it is what it is, man. Smash the like button one more time. Subscribe to the channel. Subscribe to the channel. So today is Saturday. It is currently 6:07. I will be on my way to Walmart. I gotta get some boxes because I also have an online business where I sell like some of the merchandise, and probably gotta get some bread and some shit to eat. And then what else? What else? What else? I gotta get my mic today. I gotta get my mic today so you guys can hear me. I don't know if you guys can hear me properly, but I want to get a mic so I am clear to you guys. And also I want to get a little bit of like a better camera because I'm currently using my computer's webcam, which overall isn't bad, it's not bad. It's not bad. However, we're trying to take this channel to the next level. Also, YouTube doesn't pay me because they said my content is harmful and I'm gonna be able to reapply very soon, hopefully. But as of now, I am not able to um, monetize my content. So if you guys want to support the channel, the Cash App is right there. The Cash App is right there. And thank you, man. A1 since day one. You know what time it is. Peanut on top. You know what time it is. Space Cakes 94. Shout out to you, brother. Judson Hammond. You know what time it is. Crystal McLeanis. Sendip. Well, Someone. Crystal. Kevin. Uh, who else? Everybody, man. Black Barbie 9289413. You know what time it is, Black Barbie. Amicus Beef, Amicus Beef. Brazil Cooper, Karen Moore, Karen Moore. That's a funny name, Karen. M. Sanders. Uh, man, you know what time it is. Everybody here supporting the channel, being here. You guys are the best. God bless you. God bless you. God bless you. Once again, vote for policies. Do not vote for feelings and emotions, and don't be here voting for color too. Okay, and we're not here voting for gender. We're here voting for the capable candidate. Okay, we're here to vote for the capable candidate. Okay, it is what it is. God bless you. Smash the like button. Instead of looking for perfection, seek for consistency. Instead of perfection, seek for consistency. You know what time it is. God bless you. God bless you. God bless you. I really appreciate you guys for being here. I really appreciate you guys. You know what time it is. We don't have to be the same, we don't have to be I don't have to be a Republican, I don't have to be a Democrat. I am an independent. However, I am voting for Trump because I like his policies. Like I like the mortgage rate was low, I like the gas prices low, inflation, safe border, no wars, no new wars. So, it is what it is. We can disagree, but we can still have a conversation like a mature, human beings. We still have to, dialogue, because without conversations, then we're breeding enmity between each other, and that's not what we want. We are one big family. So thank you for being here. I really appreciate it. Regardless of who you are, you could be a Democrat, you could be a Republican, you could be an independent. Doesn't matter. As long as we're having this conversation, this is what matters. God bless you. 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 Jared B says, what policies? Well, he made the Abrams Accord possible. He funded the HBCU unlimited funding. Um, Safe borders. Man, I could name so much for you, bro. I could name so much for you. I could keep going, man. I could keep going, bro. But it is what it is. You guys are the best. Low gas prices, bro. So many policies that we could talk about. We could talk about his policies. Um Opportunity zones, bro. Opportunity zones, bro. Tax breaks. And people are gonna say, well, he didn't cut taxes for middle class. He actually did. He actually did. Because this is the thing. Kamala Harris is saying that she wants to increase taxes on the wealthy corporation, the big corporations. Think about it. If they increase, if they increase taxes on the corporations, like say Walmart, right? What do you think Walmart is going to do? Walmart is just going to bring that taxes on us when we go swipe our cards in Walmart. They're just going to charge us more. And they're going to say, well, we're going to then say price gouging. We're going to go tell them how to price their product. It's not going to work. So you increase taxes on me, but yet you want to tell me what to price my product? That's not democracy, my dog. You know what I mean? That's not democracy. So, look, I don't know how that's gonna work. You know what I mean? I don't know how that's gonna work. Um, you guys just vote with knowledge, vote with wisdom, go do your own research. Do not just watch Fox, do not just watch CNN. Okay, that's not what we're doing. We don't sit here and watch CNN all day. We don't sit here and watch Fox all day. You got to do your own research. Okay, do your own research. Don't be an NPC. Don't be you know I don't know. Don't just go with the flow. Create your own flow. Go do your research. Don't just say this person is this because everybody says is this, or she's that because everybody says she's that. No. Let's do our own research. This is what we do, okay? We are intelligent people. Okay, we are smart, we're brave people, so we are capable of actually going to do our own research because Google is there, okay? Even if you don't want to look, if you don't want to, everything on Google isn't, what it is. But however, there's some articles that you can go, find and actually see that, this articles were backed up by capable or credible sources. You feel me? So because you got to actually check the source too, before you actually say, okay, I go with this. I um I agree or I am in accordance with this policy or with this news. You have to make sure you check the source too. Okay. Yes. Thank you. Thank you. Thank you. Thank you. Thank you. Thank you. I'm hungry, so I'm mixing my words up. Okay. I am hungry. Okay. Thank you so much. You guys are the best. But you only mentioned three things he did, but said there was so many things. Jared B, bro, come on, man. Come on, man. You want me to tell you everything he did? I just told you opportunity zones. He also did he funded HBCU, like I mentioned. Abrams Accord. He the first step act, where the prison reform thing, where he freed up people from jail, especially people that look like me, based on what the previous the senators like Joe and Kamala, people putting men that look like me in prison based on marijuana charges. You know what I mean? No war, uh border security, bro. There's so many international trade. I could keep going, Jared B, but you just wanna say three things, like, but yet Kamala is running to be the president of the United States, and there is nothing that she can run on. However, Trump is running based on his own um performance that he had the past from 2016 to 2020. So when we talk about performance level, bro, you could never ever compare Trump to to Kamala. Like, it's not even possible. And I am so glad that she's finally coming out to say, "Yo, I want to debate." When she comes out to do a debate from um, on September 10 on ABC, bro, it is about to be over. Just the way Trump exposed Biden, I think it's going to go the same way. Trump is going to expose Kamala because she's not. I'm sorry. I think I think she has done well for herself, a woman of color who has achieved what she has achieved, from being the attorney general in California to being the vice president. I think she's done pretty well for herself. Okay. However, do I think she's capable of being the president of the United States? Do I think she's capable of standing in front of President Xi to make hard decisions? I don't know. I don't know. Do I think she's down with someone like President Putin and making those hard decisions like, yo, we don't want wars. Let's negotiate and let's come to a conclusion. I don't think she can. And I'm not like hating on her or anything like that. I'm just saying, based on the record, if you look at it, I don't think she has done anything for the past 4 years. I'm sorry to say, but where are the things she's done? Or what are the things she's done? You say Jared B said he folded to Putin. How? When has Trump ever folded to Putin? You're here saying he folded to Putin, yet Putin couldn't go into Ukraine. Bro, when you want to say some things, you got to think. Don't just be, like I mentioned, don't be a non player character. Don't be a sheep, bro. Don't just say things because you think it's going to be cool when you say it. Think about it. They told you he folded to Putin. However, Putin couldn't invade Ukraine when he was president, dog. What are you saying? Does that make sense to you? He folded to Putin, yet Putin could not go into Ukraine, but Trump folded to Putin? Don't just be there saying BS based on the fact people are telling you to say the BS and you're typing on your phone like a kid who wants candy and wants attention. No, think about what you're saying before you type. Okay? Okay? Don't just be like that. We don't appreciate that. Agents, the matter railways were stone age during the Trump era in Oregon when they put in take over the Indianapolis region because there's gonna be outback. He wants to be a dictator on the first day. I don't think there's anything wrong in saying close the border. I don't think there's anything wrong in saying that because that's what he said. He wants he wants to he wants to say close the border, which is right to do because there's no country without a border. Shout out to A1 since day one. You know what time it is. She said, y'all be hype. Yes, man. Yes, we are hyped up here. Jerry, you don't appreciate a debate with facts. No, 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 no. We're not here saying we don't appreciate. I'm saying, bro, look at the people dying in Ukraine. If your parent lived in Ukraine right now, wouldn't you rather say, yo, man, fuck all this shit. We want Trump. That's what you would say, bro. If your parent or your kid or your cousins or your like brothers, your uncles, siblings, whatever, were staying in Ukraine, living or schooling or visiting Ukraine when this all popped up, you would have said, you know what, man, we want Trump. But because you don't have family in Ukraine and you probably don't have, military members that are serving in Ukraine right now, doing some shit in Ukraine, that's why you can say all this stuff. You know what I mean? So the facts are the facts. You may not like him. Sometimes I don't like this man. Okay, I'm not even a Republican. I am an independent, but I gravitate towards his policies, the things he stands for. Who doesn't like peace around the world? And let me tell you something, okay? Russia, bro. Russia supplies the world's 12% oil. Okay, Russia supplies the world 12% oil. So Russia is a big dog when it comes to the oil global market. Russia is a big, like, they play a big role when it comes to the oil global market because oil is a global trade. Remember, oil is a global trade. So if oil is a global trade and Russia supplies 12% of the world's oil, and then that country is at war, what do you think that would do to gas prices around the world? Also, Ukraine is amongst the top five is among the top five grain exporter in the world. What do you think that would do to food prices? So when you think about these things, these things affects the world. This war is affecting the world. It's not just affecting Ukraine and Russia. It's affecting the world. When you do your research, you would find out what I'm saying is facts. I'm not here trying to convert you to vote for Trump. I don't care who you vote for. You know, it's democracy, freedom of speech, freedom to vote for whoever you want to vote for. Do what you got to do. However, I'm just saying the facts. Also, because of YouTube, I would just say everything I just said based on YouTube's and because of YouTube, I would say everything I just said was for entertainment purposes only. Do your own research. Don't believe everything I just said. Everything I just said was for entertainment purposes. It might be true, it might not. So do your own research because of YouTube. YouTube said my content is hurting you guys. So because of YouTube, I'll say it again. YouTube, this is for entertainment purposes only. Okay? Shout out to everybody watching the live show. You know what time it is. If you want to support the channel, the Cash App is right there. Regardless, I appreciate you guys. You don't have to if you don't want to. Nobody's forcing you to do anything. Shout out to everybody one more time. One more time. Instead of looking for perfection, seek for consistency. I gotta go. It's almost 6:30. Gotta get to Walmart, man. God bless you, man. Subscribe to the channel. Smash the like button. Okay, Jared B, let me block you real fast, cause yeah. Smash the like button. Subscribe to the channel. You know what time it is. God bless you. 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 All right. Stay strong, man.